Okay, so I think we're live. It is, let's see here. It's 1:11. What is going on here? I'm a little late. Hold on a second here. No. Um, and it's the 21st of September, and I'm inside because it's probably 20 degrees out. But anyways, it's enough for me. It's 9/21, 2025. We have, let's see here. We got Paula here. Hey Paula, how are you? Good to see you. Um, We have Diana here. Dirty Diana's here. Hey, Diana, good to see you. Great live this morning, yesterday morning, sorry. Um, awesome stuff. We'll be running over that Travis Decker thing again tonight with your boyfriend there. So let's hold on. We got who else is in here? We got Southern Gal's in here. Hey, Southern Gal, how are you? Good to see you. Where's she? Right there. Hold on a second. Right there. There's nope, that's Paula. Hold on a second. We got Southern Gal right there. There she is. Hi, Southern Gal. How are you? Good to see you. Great live the other night. Um, Southern Gal's just amazing. I did post a couple of missing people, and she shared some of them. So thank you for doing that. Daisy's here. Hey, Daisy. How are you? Good to see you. I think I know who you are. Um, we have Tracy. I think is here. Hold on one second. Here we got Tracy's in the house. Hey, Tracy. How are you? Good to see you. Mino Dino's here. We got Carol. Hey, Carol. How are you? Good to see you. Always good to see Carol in here. We have Amy G. That's right. That's Amy G. Thank you so much. Boston Christian's here. I got to get Boston Christian a wrench. Beasley's here. Good to see Beasley. Who else is in here? Mino Dino's in here. Good to see Mino Dino tonight. Hope you're well, buddy. I'm good. Had a busy weekend. But that's good. No. So I'm a little late. Sorry, a little late. Listen to me. I'm a little late because I had to go out and do some work really quick tonight, and I almost went down to Nashua tonight. We'll go over that in a couple of minutes, but that would have taken me at least an hour to drive down there. And by the time I got down there, my Mustang's here too. Hey, Mustang, good to see you. I probably wouldn't have been able to make it back on time, but I thought about it. I really did. All right, so we got good stuff going on here. We got the true crime cases of the week. I want to go over missing persons update, technically update, missing person update, technically missing person of the week. Good to see everybody. Hope everybody's well. I hope Heather's well. I hope Miranda's okay too. I haven't heard from Miranda all week, but it's good to see everybody. I'll get Boston Christian a wrench in a minute. Let me play an intro, and I'll be back at some point. Good to see everybody, though. Hold on one second here. We'll go here. We'll go with this one. No, yeah, this one right here. Yep, be right back. Okay, so that's good enough for that. Big Fish, Small Pond is in here. Good to see Big Fish. Let's see here. We got a lot of great creators here in the chat. I think I just gave Boston Christian a wrench, so let me know if that worked. She's recovering. Yeah. Hope she's well. I didn't see Heather in your chat this morning either. I hope she's okay. Then again, Shibby's here. Good to see Shibby. And Luis Cuevas is here. Good to see Luis Cuevas. So I guess we'll start there. Let's go with that first. We had a pew-pewing here in New Hampshire a couple hours ago. So hold on, let me go there to that. And I almost went down there. So here's the, let's do, hold on a second. We'll do this here and then we'll do the press conference. Hold on 1 second here. All right, hold on. Let me share this here. So this happened. It's Shibby's birthday today. Happy birthday, Shibby. Mustang, my favorite. Yes, Mustang's awesome. Dieter's here too. Where's Dieter? If Dieter's here, good. There you are, right there. Okay. Good to see Dieter in here. Let me hide my face. Let's go here. Very good. All right, so I was out doing some work really quick, and I had the scanner on, and this came up here. Hold on a second. Let me share the screen here. And I almost went down there. Like I said, it would have taken me a good hour to get down here. So I almost did the live here from Nashua, but I just didn't feel like driving all the way to freaking Nashua tonight. All right, so this happened. I think this was right off of Spitbrook Road down there. One person is unalived, suspect detained, sources say. So this happened about 2 hours ago, maybe 2.5 hours ago. And I know what this country club is here because I think my ex-father-in-law used to work here. So here we go.
Tonight in Nashua, sources telling News 9 that one person is dead after a shooting at Sky Meadow Country Club. Multiple others at this point are hurt. Police confirming that there was one shooter and that they are in custody. At this point, they say there is no further threat to the public.
This is where Sky Meadow Country Club is in Nashua. It's right off Spitbrook Road. Police are also asking if you have loved ones who have been at Sky Meadow tonight, head to the Unification site, which is the Sheraton Hotel on Terra Boulevard.
Thanks for joining us here at 10:30. I'm Marissa Tansina.
Hello, everybody. I'm Jennifer Vaughn. This is still a developing situation, and that scene is still very active tonight. We have live team coverage from Nashua. We head first to our Maria Wilson. Maria, you're in Nashua right now. What are you learning? Who have you talked to? And what can we report tonight?
Yeah, well, Jen, as you and Marissa mentioned, one person is dead after a shooting at Sky Meadow Country Club here in Nashua. And we're told that at least a half a dozen others were taken to nearby hospitals with injuries. Right now, we are about a half a mile away from that country club at Spitbrook Road Fire Station. We are told that witnesses are inside speaking with law enforcement. Now, this area, there is a huge police presence. There are fire engines. There are law enforcement, both local and state. There are helicopters flying by. We just saw moments ago people who appear to have been dressed in a wedding party attire walking out of the fire station. And we spoke with people who lived nearby, and they saw cruisers flying down this road just around 7:30, 8 o'clock or so. Nashua police say they are investigating an incident at Sky Meadow Country Club, possibly involving multiple gunshot victims. Police said surveillance video confirmed that there was only one shooter and that they are currently being detained and that there is no threat to the public. We are expected to hear from the Attorney General's office right here in a matter of a few minutes or so, and we will bring you those updates as we learn them. For now, we're live here in Nashua. Maria Wilson, WMUR News 9.
And we did hear from that father who says his daughter is an employee at the country club, and she was on lockdown for several hours with about 13 to 15 other people. He did walk me through what he says his daughter heard and saw earlier. Let's take a listen.
Well, she works in the banquet section, which is right next door to Prime. And I guess I've never been in there, but she said there is a...
What's the matter with Dino? I only want your peace, love, and empathy. You're too funny. Happy they got the suspect. Yeah. I'm trying to load my flight data here. So give me a minute here. Yep. Happy birthday to Shibby. Hate wine. Maybe grab some high test. What's the matter with you, buddy? Yeah, my ex father-in-law. He was a winner. I wish I should get a birthday song, but like GH does, his birthday song. It's just annoying. So
A glass window that you can see right through. And she just happened to turn and look at the time where she saw somebody go all in black, just pull out a gun or a rifle and just started shooting. And she immediately dropped the phone and just ran outside. She actually ran into the kitchen, said there was a shooting, and they just ran outside. This is crazy. Yeah, I mean, I don't remember anything like this, and I mean, we just got in before everything was shut down. So
yeah, where is Heather? I hope she's okay. I didn't see her. Was she on your live this morning? Double D.
they let me in. I told them my daughter's in there, and they just told me to pull off the side or come down the side road.
And police seem pretty serious.
Yeah, they said if you go any further, you could get shot.
So clearly, this has just
Reporters sometimes, especially Channel 9, they always ask the dumbest questions. It's like,
been a very intense situation all night. As you can clearly see behind me, we're about half a mile down the road from the Sky Meadow Country Club, and the scene has cleared entirely almost. There's maybe 2 police cars here, but we are, working to learn more information and details, bringing the latest throughout the night tonight. We're live in Nashua. Imani Fleming, WMUR News 9.
all right, so let's hold on a second. We'll go to this first. Hold on a second. Please. Gretchen's here too. Good to see Gretchen. I hope she's okay. I hope Heather's okay. Let's go here. So that doesn't seem to be too much activity going on around there right now, but so here's Nashua here. This is the state here pretty much. So, but this is DART. So I don't know what's going on with DART. This is a medical. This is the medical transport here. So something's going on here. I know there was an accident too over in Guilford, over in here somewhere. But there doesn't seem to be. What's this guy here? This could be another med flight here. So I don't know, but this is where this pretty much happened here. I can get out of that. Hold on a second here. So I'm pretty sure the situation's pretty much under control down there. But let me share. So this is where basically the shooting took place here. Like I said, I was going to drive down there, but I was all the way, I don't know, about 2 hours to the north. So it would have taken me quite a while. So this is, I don't think there's any more going on. Oops, right down here. So somebody must have gotten mad at the golf club place. So this is it here. This is where all the rich people hang out. I don't know what to tell you. Oh, this bar looks pretty cool though. All right, so let's get out of that there. Go back to the chat here for a second. X is in Miami, Florida. Hi, Boston. Good to see Gretchen. And yeah, I fell down some stairs at Glen Finch, broke my leg. What? Did that just happen to you? I used to fall upstairs. I don't know if anybody's ever done that before. His name was Nashua. Nashua was a nut. All right, so that's enough of that. Oh, wait a minute. I wanted to play the press conference. Hold on a second here. let me see if I can find it right here. Okay, so here's. Sorry, my mouse is not working all that great. Hold on. So we'll play the press conference here, and then we'll move on to something else. Apparently, I haven't had enough coffee yet today. All right, so this is the press conference. This was done 2 hours ago, so they look confused.
And the Attorney General's office is helping the Nashua Police Department in this investigation. We don't have a prepared statements, but we'll certainly take any questions, knowing that this is an active and ongoing investigation at this point. So the amount of information we can share is fairly limited.
It's so strange because I come on here every night. I got everything all set up, all planned, and then something like this happens, and then I got to kind of,
Tell us what happened.
Yeah, at this point, again, it is an active and ongoing investigation. We issued a news release in which an adult male entered the golf course area, and there was a shooting. An adult male died. Additional people.
Lisa Joe's here. Where's Lisa Joe? There she is. Hey, Lisa Joe, good to see you. If I fall up the stairs too, yes. Yeah, I was good at falling upstairs. I don't know how that happens, but it's good to see Tracy in here. It's good to see Lisa Joe's in here. Good to see everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. John Paul Hanson's in here. Good to see John Paul. Whiskey Scotland years ago. Scotland? If it's whiskey in Scotland, isn't it called Scotch? Just kidding. All right, so just making sure. I drove my walker downstairs in 1974. I was smiling, crawling back upstairs. How did you know that? You guys are awesome. All right, so I have long legs and the grace of a newborn giraffe. The long legs are good. All right, let's get to this here.
People were injured, and it's currently being investigated at this point.
This guy right here looks like really confused about what's going on here.
Some sort of a hate crime, or what do you believe?
So there's a lot of details that we need to figure out, and we need to know that information before we can share it, and that's one of the details that we're trying to learn.
Well, we heard that he yelled out the kids in Palestine. So what is that?
Yeah, well, we're dealing with the facts and the information that we gather, and once we get that facts and information and have an actual motive that we can share, we'll certainly do that. But right now we get to deal with the facts and the information. For example, there was some information that there were 2 shooters. That turned out to be erroneous. We can definitively say that there is only 1 shooter.
Was this a targeted shooting?
Again, that's facts and information that we're trying to develop right now.
How many victims?
1 adult male is deceased. There are multiple shooting victims. Again, we're trying to iron out that particular detail. Some of the shooting victims went to local fire departments, so that's why I'm not sure of that detail just yet. How many people were injured in addition to the deceased male?
Is it okay to think that those victims are okay if they're at a fire department rather than the hospital?
It's too early to say at this point what exactly the condition of the non-deceased people are.
Why were they not taken to a hospital?
Again, some people went by themselves to local fire departments.
Can you tell us if the shooting at the wedding or the restaurant?
Again, that information is still being developed, and as soon as we can share that without interfering with the integrity of the investigation, we certainly will do that. I think it was
All gunshot wounds, or
I know, it's so funny. Why are they even doing a press conference at all? It always brings me back to the Pink Panther with Steve Martin, and he's talking to the ladies. I'm here to bring you up to speed. We know nothing. Consider yourself up to speed. I don't know. That's probably why I didn't go down here, because stay out of their way. They know. I think they know what they're doing.
There were some gunshot wounds. There may be some non-gunshot wounds. Again, that's one of the details that we're still trying to figure out as part of the investigation that Nashua is actively pursuing.
Where was the suspect arrested, and how long after the shooting was he laying in wait? Had he taken off on the scene?
Yep. So no suspect has been arrested. A person of interest has been detained. pending warrants at this point in time, but there has been no arrests. But we have identified all the people involved in the situation, and there's no threat to the general public at this point in time.
I guess, so is the person of interest, where were they located in relation to?
Again, that's information that we're developing, and we can share that. When we can share that, we certainly will.
Do we know the type of weapon that the suspect or person of interest had?
No, other than a firearm, no. And we also don't know if there are additional weapons involved.
Do you know if the suspected shooter is connected to the wedding or the restaurant in any way?
Yeah, again, that's one of the things that we're certainly trying to find out and trying to develop. And once we can share that.
Dino's leaving already. Okay, good. It looks like Boston Christian's wrench worked. So, is Dino leaving already? Are you all right, buddy? It's always good to see Dino here for sure. Yeah, they've identified all of the people involved, but they've detained one person of interest, not even a suspect. Yeah, that's what you're going to get here. You're going to get a lot of bullshit.
That we certainly will.
Chief, I guess there's a weapon involved. Can you just talk about this as a public event? There's a wedding going on, people enjoying a night in Nashville.
If you're taking off, Dino, have a good week. Good to see you, man. There's a nasty cold going around, though. My daughter had it last week. Dino's had a tough day. The street corners show no mercy. I didn't know there were street corners in Wisconsin.
Sure, can you just step on the phone and just talk about all this happening and like people are supposed to.
I thought those were cheese corners. Just kidding. I don't know. Terrible joke.
But feel safe and have an enjoyable night.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate circumstance.
So I think one additional thing that we needed to know is that any family members are looking for family members. I think the point of meeting place is here at the Sheridan in Nashua. So if anybody is looking for any family members who might have been at any of the events at the golf course, come here and they can be assisted.
Do we know how many people were at?
I'm assuming that it's possible that the shooter is the one that's deceased, and then they're trying to figure out if there was somebody else involved. I don't know. Don't quote me on that, but it's possible. Like I said, this just happened like a couple hours ago.
At the wedding?
Don't.
This was so big that Agenda Free did something. He had a live on this here. He seems to do every major catastrophe that happens.
A witness said that people there at the venue tackled the shooter and took them away from him. Can you confirm that, or can you talk about that?
I can't talk about that now. Again, it's still active and ongoing. The Nashua Police are doing a great job gathering evidence, finding witnesses, talking to witnesses. But this incident is only a few hours old. There are multiple witnesses that need to be talked to, multiple videos that need to be obtained and then looked at. So once we get a full.
Yeah, it came across I usually have the scanner on in my car. It came across my scanner too, but like I said, I was all the way up in basically the upper valley here. So that would have taken me a good hour and a half, even in the car. But I definitely wouldn't have been here at 1 for sure. But I was thinking about it.
Fuller understanding of what happened, including possible motive. We certainly will share that when we can do so. But again, I think it's too early to talk about what some people might have thought happened and focus on facts and evidence, which we're still gathering.
Video of this incident, and how helpful was the surveillance video in determining that?
It's I think that's Jenny 8675309. But I could be wrong. It's good to see Jenny in here. I haven't seen Jenny for such a long time. You're about to eat cereal. He gives verified information. Steve Looker gets excited easily, but yeah, they all do. Doodlebug's here too. Holy shit, Doodlebug's here. It's good to see Doodlebug in here. I just wanted to say hello and that all of you matter. You're awesome, Doodlebug. Doodlebug's amazing. It's good to see Jenny 867 in here too. A lot of great content creators in here. We got Southern Gal. She's amazing. Lisa Joe's in here. Great. I think Lisa Joe's got a site too. Doodlebug's in here. Doodlebug's amazing. Paula's amazing. Doodlebug does great work, especially on the missing. Southern Gal too. All great channels in there. Feel free to throw your channels in here. You messaged Heavy? Okay, good. I hope she's okay. FindBarbCotton.com. There you go. We go back to this.
There weren't two shooters.
So in many cases, there's videos.
There's a frost warning here tonight. Just to let everybody know, there's a frost advisory till the 21st at 8 a.m. So, and it's 42 degrees right now. So it's going to get even worse here tonight. That'll be the earliest frost that I can remember up here. I'm sure we've had a frost earlier than that, but for some reason, what's today, the 21st? That's fairly quick for here too.
And I think this case would be no different. As to the extent of video, again, that's something that's still being developed in terms of not only video from the scene, but video from surrounding areas that could show.
Yeah, I hate winter, especially when it's this cold. You had an advisory last month? Are you in Wisconsin too? No, you're not in Wisconsin. I know where you are. You've told me before, but I forgot. Dakota? Not Dakota? Hey, Paul, I just moved to all messages. Sorry, I didn't see you at first. Northern Minnesota. Yeah, it gets cold up there too, for sure. I was kind of close.
Shed light on how people got there and other type of information.
Is the vehicle at the fire department that has yellow tape around it, is that connected to the suspect? Is that where he left the vehicle and went into the venue?
Yeah, frankly, I don't know that information, so I can't provide any insight on that.
Okay, so they don't know anything. So why even bother? So I just wanted to play that because that was something that I was almost involved in there. I almost went down there to see what was going on. I almost did the live there. Eventually, I'm going to figure out how to do the live remote on the phone. So remember that. All right, so let's go to this douchebag. I wanted to play this a couple of weeks ago, but I couldn't. We're going back to the we're going to go back to the Susan Morphew thing. And this, I believe this guy's out on bail now. Is that the truth? But this was done a couple of weeks ago. And this is Barry's Secret Life. So Barry Morphew's Secret Life. So we're going to play this here. I don't know if you guys remember this case with Susan Morphew. We've done tons of videos on this. He's suspected of unaliving his wife now. He's been arrested and charged a second time. The first time he was charged, the prosecution gave up on the case with no prejudice, so that means they could charge him again. So after they found her body, I think it was a couple years ago now, they rearrested him, I believe over the spring. And Vinny will get into it. And she was found probably about an hour. Is it an hour? I can go over that again. But anyways, here we go. This is Susan Morphew unaliving Barry's Secret Life. This is not gonna probably surprise too many people, but I just wanted to play this. So here we go.
And the subject of our investigation is the mysterious disappearance and murder of Suzanne Morphew, a mother of two. A twist in the case.
He's out on bail now, right? Thank you, Jenny. Barb was from MD, so it makes sense you think of that. Yeah. I get my states confused. Anytime we're around the Midwest, mid-upper West, I get, he's out on bail now, yes. This guy's a real piece of dog shit.
Case led to a renewed push from prosecutors.
Not Vinny, but the other guy.
To find her husband, Barry, responsible. Here's the story. On Mother's Day 2020, Suzanne Morphew vanished from her home in Chaffee County.
This poor woman. This is just such a sad this case and a lot of other cases, like this case here, has been bothering me for at least a couple of years now. But this poor woman, she should have gotten when she had the chance.
Colorado. Her bike was found abandoned on a remote trail, but Suzanne was gone without a trace. What began as a missing persons case soon spiraled into a complex investigation riddled with secrets, suspicion, and heartbreak. Suzanne, a beloved mother of two, had been texting a love.
Look at this. They're all smiling here in this picture. You know, it's like one would think that they're perfectly happy and all of that stuff, but pictures don't tell everything, bro.
And expressing fears about her troubled marriage. Her husband, Barry Morphew, insisted she'd been killed by a mountain lion. But investigators uncovered deleted messages, GPS data, and inconsistencies in his story. In 2021, Barry was arrested and charged with her murder, but with no body, insufficient evidence, and ethical issues connected to the prosecutor, the case was dismissed without prejudice. Then, in a shocking turn in September of 2023,
they were lucky, man. I'm telling you, they were lucky that they found her, because it's not every day you find a body in Colorado, right? All right, hold on. Let me give me 2 seconds. I'll keep playing this. I want to try to pull up the map.
Suzanne's remains were discovered in a shallow grave nearly 40 miles from where she disappeared.
Now I don't have to.
Now, almost 2 years later, her husband Barry has once again been charged with her murder. You know, this.
I mean, it just these excuses that these guys come up with is just hilarious sometimes. You know, running around the house chasing squirrels with a horse tranquilizer gun. You got to be kidding me.
This is a case where I wasn't 100% convinced that they would file charges once again. But once they found Suzanne's body, it changed everything here. But for Barry Morphew, he didn't necessarily stick around and wait to see what was going to happen. I want to bring in Court TV field reporter Cody Thomas, who's been following this case.
John Paul Hansen has a great site too. He does tremendous work. Awesome musician, great stuff. He's done songs for pretty much every one of us. So John Paul Hansen's awesome. Tracy's awesome too. Tracy's like, yes, this guy's a douche for sure.
For us. So yeah, there was time, right? He was arrested, then he was let go, and then he was free to do whatever he wanted to do. So when they charged him again, where did they find Barry Morphew?
Well, Vinny, that's the interesting part, because they found him more than 6 from where him and Suzanne lived in Salida, Colorado, to a small town outside of Phoenix, Arizona called Cave Creek. Now, public records show that Morphew paid property taxes at the Stardust Trailer Park in Cave Creek, which can be interpreted as this is a.
Okay, so we've hold on a second. Let me just give everybody kind of a douche is a nice way to say it. Yes, for sure. We've done this 1,000 times. Okay, so here's the map. This is I don't know if you guys can see this here, but if I click on this here, it will disappear. Actually, I can do it this way. All right, so this is Denver here. This is Barry Morphew's location so he was here when she vanished. There's the home in Salida, and then she was found all the way down here in Moffat. This is where this is their home in Salida here. So the bike was found pretty soon after, and then about a year later they found her body all the way down here. So that's kind of a map, and this is like a square. So there you go. Let's get out of this here. Go back to this here. We've done that map before for sure.
Town where he lived, this is where he settled in after those initial charges were dropped. And if you look at your screen right there for our viewers, this gives context to how far away these two cities were. 644 miles away, hours if you were to take a car. Now, Barry was actually, Vinny, arrested in Goodyear, Arizona. Now, that is also just a suburb outside of Phoenix, about an hour away from Cave Creek. But Vinny, what's interesting about
Peggy O and I keep forgetting to mention Peggy O. Peggy O and Amy G's live. Did I bump into Amy G's live? Sorry about that. She's probably just tired. Yeah, that's okay. As long as she's okay, it's fine.
his time in Arizona is that he was not going by his real legal name of Barry. Take a listen to what prosecutors said about his aliases in a recent bond hearing.
Judge, the court specifically asked defense counsel whether or not the defendant has been using any other name. And obviously we can talk about the reasons why the defendant might have been doing that. But it's not just his middle name that he's using. He's using a last name that doesn't have any relationship or connection to his given name at birth. He's using the name Lee Moore, which is not related to anything that the defense has presented. Specifically, he's using it to conduct business in Arizona, and that's the concern that people have specifically. In addition, Judge, the court asked whether or not he's been in another state for a substantial period of time. Well, I don't have any facts to dispute what defense counsel represented. I would note that the defendant has been traveling frequently with 2 vehicles, interchanging license plates on those vehicles.
So Barry is using these aliases while living in Arizona. You heard the prosecutor there, Vinny, reference Lee Moore. That was one of his aliases that he was using to conduct business. Now, Vinny, he frequented a bar in Cave Creek, Arizona, and the manager at that bar spoke with FoxNews.com. He told them that he knew Barry as Bruce and didn't know Barry's real name until the reporting came out following his re-indictment. But what we also have, Vinny, we also have a photo obtained by FoxNews.com of Barry with a woman. You see him there shaking this woman's hand. This woman's name is Libby Spruill. Now, she says she was at the bar in March of 2024, the same bar where this bartender knew him as Bruce.
This guy. People, I'm telling you, people are just really stupid. They just are. Look at this guy. Huh. Yes, I am a killer.
She said that Barry Morphew asked her if she wanted to dance. The bartender said Barry was sort of a ladies' man. Here's what she told Fox News. It says, quote,
"Would you like to dance and get dead?" This guy's not fooling anybody, man. Oh my God.
He walked out to me and he said, "Hi." He's like, "Do you want to dance?" And I said, "You're Barry Morphew." So she read.
Oh my God, that is too funny. You're Barry Morphew.
Recognized him from reporting, Vinny. Spruill said at the time, according to Spruill, Barry Morphew said, no, I think you have the wrong person. A bit later, Spruill said an individual approached them and introduced Barry Morphew as Lee from Indiana. So, Vinny, we have Bruce, according to the bartender, and then we have Lee from Indiana.
That's just too funny. I can't, it's stuff like this. I mean, this is such a horrible case, but no, you're Barry Morphew.
According to this woman, no pun intended, Bruce and Lee, you really can't make this up. But the Lee from Indiana one is interesting, Vinny, because Indiana is where Barry and Suzanne lived before they moved to Colorado. And of course, according to that recent grand jury indictment, he used Lee Moore to conduct business while he was in Arizona. Now, what else do we know about Barry Morphew? We know while living in Colorado, he was a landscaper and a private contractor, neither of which he was licensed to do while he was in Arizona. Now, public records show that
this guy's a fraudster, man. He's not even close to what he thinks he is. It's just crazy.
He was self-employed, but it didn't specify what that self-employment was. But according to the recent prosecution's response to a defense motion to reduce bond, it clearly outlined that Barry Morphew has a history with Arizona. It says, quote, "While jailed, he has communicated about the value of the stock he sold and the substantial rental income he is collecting on his properties in Arizona."
See, they're trying to get to a motive here, right? Like he was basically living off of her. So
the defendant has used and continues to use an alias. He refers to himself as Lee, while he has been in custody and appears to continue to conduct business in Arizona using that alias. So Vinny, even behind bars, he's still referring to himself as Lee Moore. So it's quite
Like, it's so funny the woman just said that. Wait, no, you're Barry Morphew. I don't want to dance with you, man.
quite apparent that he was living this
I don't want to get dead.
whole new life under these multiple different aliases while in Arizona.
Fascinating, really fascinating, because he's got 2 daughters as well. All right. Cody's going to stick around during the course of the hour. But what we learned here brings us to the first question in our investigation.
This is going to be funny, right? Watch this.
Why was Barry living a secret life? You know, is there an innocent explanation for it? Is there a not innocent explanation for it?
Oh my
Let's bring in some guests to help answer that question. Private investigator Lauren Vellucci is with us, as well as Colorado-based attorney Stephen Longo. Great to have you both here. Lauren, what's your suspicions here on why Barry was living this secret life, or is it Lee was living this secret life in Arizona?
Yeah, I suspect that he knew his goose was cooked, and he was trying to get as much of life as he could before he knew he was going to be tried. I mean,
I don't think he thought that they would find her body. I think he and they're lucky they did. Colorado's a pretty good sized place, man. And I think they just got lucky that they found her body. It's just my opinion.
evidence against him is damning, and they didn't do this with prejudice. So he, like they said, he was a ladies' man. I wouldn't put it past him to have been trying to wife up some new lady out there and swoop her off her feet. Who knows?
Yeah, he wasn't getting that lady, that's for sure. She knew exactly who he was. Wait a minute, you're Barry. Aren't you Barry Morphew? No, I'm Lee. No, you're Barry Morphew.
Let me ask you, Stephen, is there an innocent explanation for why he would assume these aliases and live this life in a trailer park out there in Cave Creek?
I think the most innocent version you could have of it is that it's tough to go to a bar and try to pick up women. It's tough to try to conduct.
Yeah, it's one thing to have privacy and secret life, but it's another thing if you're, on the hook for unaliving your wife, right? You're out there trying to pick up other women with a different name.
Business with people when you have been on the national news as being effectively charged now twice with killing your wife. So that's as innocent as it's going to get for me. I think that's.
I mean, she's a very, very attractive woman. It just sucks that she had to, meet the fate that she met. It's just so horribly sad.
Probably the most reasonable explanation. And like any good lie, it's usually wrapped in some truth. The name, not so much, but the fact that he created this alias that he kept, that he was from Indiana. I'm sure there was other truthful things as part of the.
Yeah, this guy's not fooling me. This guy, and it's really stupid too, because 9 times out of 10 they're going to think it's the husband anyways. So she was cheating around too, though, but I think it's because she was trying to get away from him.
Persona he created. I think what's most interesting about is he created 2 aliases, which when we're creating an alter ego or something that we're trying to get away from the name Barry Morphew, I don't know why you complicate it and convolute it with 2 names, right? With Lee.
It's going to be tough, though, to convict him. It's just my opinion, because they did such a horrible job in the beginning. I'm not saying they can't convict him, but it's not going to be as easy as people think, because they did, they did such a horrible job in the first place. The first set of prosecutors were, I don't know, bat crazy stupid, really.
Lee Moore, and then also known at the bar as Bruce.
Yeah, Lauren, the other thing is the life he is living down there in Cave Creek. We know the house he was living in with Suzanne Morphew. What a beautiful home, big, beautiful, expensive. He's living in a trailer park. There's nothing wrong with that, but that is quite different than living in a.
He's a nobody. He literally, same as it's this case and the Brian Walsh case are very similar. They were both basically leeching off their wives. It's nothing to themselves. It's just, although I think Brian Walsh was independently, I think his mother was independently wealthy. I'm not sure. But this case here, strange.
A home like this, do you think that was a choice based on finances or just trying to sort of blend in and not stick out?
I think it was a little bit of both, if I had to take a guess. I think that he's a smart man. He had business dealings that were going well. Obviously, he was successful. And I think he knows that he's going to need the money that he has to.
Yeah, that's what I mean, Tracy. I think it was, I don't think that he ever thought that they would find her body. And it's just one of those things where they just lucked out. I think somebody, Brian Walsh suffers from dumbassery for sure. He's a dumbass. This guy ain't no smarter though. Okay. Let's see here.
Have a decent defense, and I think he knew it was only a matter of time. But I also think that if he was under the radar, blending in with small town folk, maybe he was less likely to be known as Barry.
Stephen, can anything from this new?
I mean, the guy has such a beautiful family. Why do this? It's just so stupid,
New life be used against him, or is it just sort of irrelevant at the point that he gets tried inside a courtroom for the murder of Suzanne?
I think what happens inside the walls of the courtroom, it's frankly irrelevant. But when we look at the court of public opinion, and Barry Morphew is not looking good, really has never looked good in the public's eyes, I don't think this is a very good look for him. I don't think any of the things we've heard from his conduct in the bar, whether it's the bartender saying he's kind of this ladies' man, and
it only takes one juror, man. I'm telling you. So you never know. You never know what's going to happen in court.
And trying to pick up multiple women using different aliases, it appears to be tradecraft and the behavior of a person that, frankly, would concoct these stories and engage in this type of stuff.
Yeah, the deception, the deceptive, and that he was living such a fall from grace. Lauren and Stephen are going to stay with us. Coming up next, how big is the so-called BAM evidence?
The remains of Suzanne Morphew after an autopsy contained a chemical compound that Mr. Morphew had almost exclusive access to.
Saturday nights on ION is our night. Let's go! Double header.
Difference was the fact that they found Suzanne Morphew's body. First time around when they charged him, they didn't have a body. Now they do. I want you to take a listen to the prosecutor talking about some of the evidence that was found as a result of being able to recover Suzanne Morphew's remains.
The remains of Suzanne Morphew were found. The remains of Suzanne Morphew were found. The remains of Suzanne Morphew after an autopsy contained a chemical compound that Mr. Morphew had almost exclusive access to, tying him directly to the remains of his wife. The case in 2021 was arguably entirely circumstantial with no body. This case is very different.
So what exactly
it's possible he didn't do it. It's possible that pigs fly and shit. I put it at like maybe 10%, 10 or 15%, because it's possible that he paid somebody to do it. It's possible that, I don't know. It's very, very minimal in this case here, in my opinion.
Is that chemical compound that they found in Suzanne Morphew's remains through the autopsy? Cody Thomas takes a look.
In the grand jury indictment, the district attorney explains the drugs found in Suzanne.
I have this indictment somewhere too. I just haven't, read through the whole thing. The second indictment, anyway, not the first one. But the second one includes a lot of the stuff from the first one, except for the newer. But I have those whole indictments somewhere in my files here. So.
And Morphew's bones. It's, quote, a chemical mixture known as BAM, or the combination of butyphenol, azaparone, and medetomidine. The chief toxicologist tested Suzanne Morphew's bone marrow for the presence of BAM. All three of the individual chemicals that comprise BAM were present. The coroner's office determined cause of death and manner of death as follows: homicide by unspecified means in the setting of BAM intoxication. BAM could only be obtained by prescription from a veterinarian. BAM must be administered into the bloodstream through intravenous or intramuscular injection. BAM does not cause sedation instantaneously, but takes several minutes to take effect. BAM is designed.
See, if they don't find her body, there's no way they can prove this, right? I mean, you're going to need a body to prove this stuff here. So I was just, I'm just under the assumption that he didn't think that they were going to find her.
Not to be lethal and comes with reversal agents in the prescription kit. However, BAM is not FDA approved for any human use. The compound would render the recipient wholly immobile, vulnerable, and unable to resist any constrictions to the recipient's ability to breathe. Records were of BAM prescriptions related to Barry Morphew.
I see you, friend. Like I said, it's good to see everybody in here tonight. Hope everybody's doing well.
Prescription records show that when Suzanne Morphew disappeared, only one private citizen living in that entire area of the state had access to BAM, Barry Morphew. Barry Morphew used BAM to sedate and transport deer on his deer farm. Barry Morphew admitted to using BAM in both Indiana and Colorado. Specifically, he admitted to using BAM in Colorado as recently as April of 2020, stating that at that time he had tranquilized a deer from the breezeway of the Morphew residence.
And that brings us to the next question in our investigation. And this may be a very important.
They'll say, why didn't he just use a gun? Well, because the thing is, like, if you shoot somebody, you can get ballistics off of a bullet, right, or a gun. But if you use something that you need a body to prove, like this, or you always hear about the cases where people give people antifreeze or nicotine, or you need a body to prove that, unless you have toxicology or whatever. But so I don't think he ever expected to see that body again.
Important one. How big is the so-called BAM evidence in this case? What story does it tell? How much impact on the jury? Here to help with our investigation, private investigator Lauren Vellucci and Colorado-based attorney Stephen Longo. Let me ask you, Lauren, what picture gets painted in your mind when you hear about this BAM evidence?
Well, first, let me start off by saying kept in a locked safe in the family's home. So that limits who had access to it. Then to hear that her bone marrow had these chemicals of BAM in them tells me that she had started to metabolize it. So this death that Suzanne experienced, I can't personally think of a more painful.
I know one thing: owls think chipmunks are really tasty.
Death, and it's law enforcement's theory that Barry chased her around the house with this dart rifle, terrorizing her, hunting her. I, as someone who experienced domestic violence when I was young in a marriage, I cannot fathom what Suzanne went through. And this BAM evidence is damning.
Stephen, I want you to take a listen to what the defense had to say about this evidence inside the courtroom.
So far as the indictment, Your Honor, as the court knows, that is a cherry-picked piece of narrative that has been created exclusively by the district attorney, using agents by the district attorney, and by going through the grand jury, there is no opportunity for the defense to be able to.
I know that the lawyer he's got's pretty good. And the daughters are sticking by him, I think. So it is kind of strange, but I think he's been lying to a lot of people.
Publicly rebut anything that has been said. That is but mere allegations, and arguably and laughably, oftentimes wrong and incorrect. The ban that the district attorney mentions that Mr. Morphew had access to, I want to be clear on, was prescribed to him in the state of Indiana in 2018. Mr. Morphew has not had access to BAM since 2018, and the indictment says that nobody in the immediate region, meaning the 12th Judicial District, who was not otherwise lawfully prescribed BAM, had access to BAM, leaving out the fact that Mr. Morphew himself has not had access or prescription to BAM since 2018, and ultimately, law enforcement did not find any BAM in Mr. Morphew's residence, in his garage, or in his gun safe. And so this narrative that the people put in their indictment that Mr. Morphew has ties to and access to BAM and is completely silent to the fact that that was an out-of-state prescription legally prescribed to him for a deer farm that he had not owned in years, in my opinion, is something that is not particularly relevant to this court's analysis.
Stephen Longo, looking at the BAM evidence now, how big is it? How big will it loom in the courtroom? And is there any sort of innocent explanation for this?
The BAM evidence is massive. This can't be understated enough. It won't be readily dismissed. There won't be some easy explanation. BAM is a cocktail sedative that is.
Yeah, it's not like everybody around there is going to be running around with this stuff in their medicine cabinet. You know what I mean? This is I'm pretty sure though that it's probably more prevalent in more like communities like this here, but there's probably a way that you can pretty much tie the stuff in there. Like if they would have found the body in time, tie the lot and serial number and everything right back to him. But she was out in the elements for, I think it was a good year or two. So a lot of that stuff probably had broken down. 5309, I had to. So it is 5309.
Effectively has one supplier in the entirety of the United States. It is heavily regulated. And Barry Morphew, whether it's from a prescription in Indiana or Colorado, regardless, is the only person who should legally have it in the state of Colorado when the murder is committed. That's aside from any government agency.
Our squirrel's name is Chucky Yellow because Chunky because he is. I go to Portland and all the squirrels look like they're on crack.
Forest and Wildlife have it. This is the type of stuff they use to relocate bears that might find their way into residences and things like that. It's that powerful of a sedative cocktail. So the evidence that this is found in Suzanne's Morphew bone marrow is huge. I don't think there's any way that Barry Morphew or his defense team can.
I mean, how do you explain that away? Maybe you can say that he didn't have any, because I think they're trying to do that. I think they're trying to say he didn't have any on him at the time. I'm sure there's a way a defense can try to explain it away, but it's just so weird, that she has it in her. It's just, and they can tie it to him. It's so weird.
And escape this.
Yeah, Lauren, one of the things the defense was arguing there is that they didn't find any. That's like, well, he got rid of it. We know he had it at some point and he got rid of it. To me, that fact can be, spun in either direction and can make him look really bad.
Yeah, absolutely. And not only that, he admitted to having it.
we have a pretty good sized red tail. It's probably one of the reasons why we don't have a lot of squirrels here in this area here. Blue jays are assholes. Blue jays they're annoying birds, literally.
Committed to having it to shoot deer so that he could de-antler them, or whatever the correct term of that is, which is illegal. So he admitted to having it, and then also the needle cap of the band that he didn't have, it was in the dryer with a pair of shorts that he was caught on video wearing the day of the murder.
Yeah, the last time we had evidence that was found in a washing machine or a dryer was the Jodi Arias case, the camera with all the pictures. Big thank you to Lauren Vellucci, Stephen Longo. Great to have you on. Up next, was the relationship a motive for murder?
Okay, we'll watch a little bit more of this, and then I want to get to the missing person case, and then
I'm Vinnie Politan. We continue our investigation of the mysterious disappearance and death of Suzanne Morphew, a mother of two who disappeared on Mother's Day in 2020.
anytime, buddy, anytime you want to, yep, anytime. We just have tree and gray squirrels. Squirrels are annoying, in my opinion.
Focused squarely on her husband, Barry, many questions remain about how this trial may play out. Here's the story. Mother's Day 2020 dawned with eerie silence in the mountains of Colorado. Suzanne Morphew, radiant and athletic, vanished without a trace after a supposed bike ride near her Chaffee County home. Her bicycle was found tossed in a ravine intact, yet haunting. As days turned into months, a desperate search unfolded across some rugged terrain. Drones, dogs, and volunteers combed the wilderness, but Suzanne's body remained hidden. Her daughters, torn between grief and loyalty, stood by their father, Barry Morphew, who insisted she was taken by a wild animal.
Does anybody know if they're still sticking by him? Because I haven't heard from them in a while. But
Yet, whispers of marital tension, secret messages, and GPS data began to surface. In 2021, Barry was arrested for her murder, but the charges were dropped after the prosecutor ran into ethical problems connected to the case. Then, in September of 2023, a grim discovery. Suzanne's remains were found buried nearly 40 miles.
did he just say 2023? It was that long ago? No.
2021, Barry was arrested for her murder, but the charges were dropped after the prosecutor ran into ethical problems connected to the case. Then, in September of 2023, a grim discovery.
Holy shit, that was 2 years ago. It can't be.
Suzanne's remains were found buried nearly 40 miles away. The news shattered her daughters, reopening wounds once thought to be healing. Now, almost 2 years later, Barry Morphew has been reindicted for his wife's murder. In cases of spousal murder or the accusation of spousal murder, it's so important to understand what was happening between.
Boston Christian's awesome. Me and Boston Christian go back a ways, long ways. It's good to see Boston Christian here. My desktop computer has a 252-inch and 162-inch screen. I cheat, JP. I have a desktop laptop, but years, a long time for sure.
The accused killer and the victim, because they are.
It's always good to see Boston Christian here. Good, very good person.
Married, they're together. At one point, they loved each other. Let's check back in now with Court TV field reporter Cody Thomas, who's been following this case for you. Tony.
I don't care what anybody says. This guy, Morphew, is just a piece of crap. I don't trust anything he says at all.
Cody, what do we know about Barry and Suzanne's relationship, and what was?
Can you blame her for having an affair? I mean, I can't. I mean,
what's going on here before she disappeared and before she was killed?
Well, Vinny, in short, based on early interviews of Barry at the beginning of this investigation,
it's Nicole Watt. It's good to see Nicole Watton here. Nicole Watt's here. Thank you for coming in, Nicole. Boston, yes, it is. I spend a couple thousand every other year to get trimmed, and it provides cover for her son in the summer. Yeah.
Barry seemed to be somewhat in denial about the status of their relationship, saying it was wonderful and it was great, but in actuality, it was riddled with allegations of affairs on both sides. And the recent grand jury indictment dives deeper into their relationship.
I'm telling you, though, they did such a horrible job initially when they arrested him the first time. That's going to come into play, though, I'm telling you. This is definitely not a slam dunk case. But I think in the end, it's going to be very, very difficult for a jury not to believe he did it. That's just my opinion.
It says, quote here, Vinny, in early interviews with Barry Morphew, he told law enforcement that his marriage to Suzanne Morphew was the best and that the two had a wonderful weekend together. When Barry was asked whether Suzanne...
Dirty Diana's in here too. Dirty Diana's great person. We love Dirty Diana here. She has a great channel, and stop stealing her shit, man. She does amazing work. In early interviews with Barry Morphew, he told law enforcement that his marriage to Susan Morphew was the best. Yeah, well, what else is he going to say? If he says no, right, like, of course they're going to say yes.
Would say anything different about their relationship, Barry stated no.
If your wife's missing and the first thing you say to police is when they ask you if your marriage is okay and you say, no, it sucks, you're pretty much going to jail.
Barry Morphew's statements about his marriage to Suzanne were inconsistent with other witness accounts and evidence located, specifically that Suzanne confided in people that she was unhappy.
Yeah, she
happy in the marriage in the weeks and months leading to her disappearance. She discussed plans to divorce Barry Morphew with her close friend. She maintained documented notes of problems in the relationship recovered from electronic devices and the physical search of the Morphew home.
I guarantee you, if you ask any female, right, who's been in a marriage for more than 10, 15 years or so, they've probably had that conversation with their friends, regardless of whether or not they're actually going to get a divorce from their husband. I mean, that probably gets talked about a lot, especially with their friends. So I don't know if that's a, but this chick here, Susan Morphew, she definitely was having an affair. But I mean, can you blame her? This guy's a douchebag.
Suzanne Morphew had been having a secret affair with an old acquaintance who lived out of state. She communicated with him daily over LinkedIn and WhatsApp. Suzanne's last known electronic message to anyone was to this person on May 9th, 2020 at 2:11 p.m., just 32 minutes before Barry Morphew returned to the home that day. And Benny, this indictment refers to that last message on May 9th, 2020. We have this picture right here. See it there on your screen of Suzanne. This is a picture that she sent to this person that she was having an affair with.
Oh,
now, this photo was sent on the same day, May 9th, as her last electronic message ever. But it's unclear whether this picture that she sent to him was the last message, but still sent on the same day. Now, Benny, back to the indictment, it says, quote, a forensic download of Barry Morphew's cell phone revealed that Barry Morphew had deleted a text chain with Suzanne Morphew from which an image of a single text remained. A screenshot of this single text message was saved on Barry Morphew's phone on May 6, 2020, so 3 days before they referenced prior, Vinny. That image revealed a text from Suzanne that stated, "I'm done. I could care less what you're up to and have."
This is damning. I'm done. I could care less what you're up to and have been for years. We just need to figure this out civilly. Yeah, he figured it out civilly, all right.
Have been for years. We just need to figure this out civilly.
See, in my opinion, women just don't need to do this. Just leave. Don't tell them, just leave. Just get out. Because they're not going to figure things out civilly, that's for sure.
So Vinny, Suzanne was having this affair, but she also had suspicions that Barry was having an affair of his own, so much so that she went out and bought a spy pen recording device. But it kind of backfired when she went to use it. So at a hearing in 2021, attorneys on both sides discussed some of the evidence, including data from this spy pen. The pen revealed to investigators that Suzanne was having an affair for 2 years. Now, it was Suzanne's pen. She got it to record audio, hoping to catch Barry having this affair. But instead, the pen recorded audio capturing Suzanne talking on the phone.
Yeah, we're going to play Dee Dee's boyfriend here fairly shortly. Look at this. So she had a spy pen to catch him having an affair, but she ended up catching herself in the process.
Phone to her lover. She traveled out of state at least 6 times to be with this lover. Now, this man lived in Michigan and had a wife and 6 children. And as it relates to the murder, Vinny, investigators did clear him in relation to this case. So needless to say, Vinny, their relationship was...
He's going to be brought up. I guarantee you, he's going to be brought up in court. The defense is going to, I mean, that's just my opinion. Whether they're allowed to or not is one thing, but I wouldn't be surprised if you hear his name.
Not on the best terms based on this information.
No, but they have the daughters, they have the family, but it's clear, Cody, from your reporting that things were not good. Thanks so much, Cody Thomas, helping us out tonight. That brings us to the next question in our investigation. When you've got a relationship like this, was the relationship a motive for murder?
So let's get out of this here. I just wanted to play that. I wanted to play that a couple of weeks ago. I think I forgot. And then other things came up, I think. All right, so we're going to go to, let's do the missing. And I have, hold on a second here. Okay, so this is new details in case of missing deaf mom. 97 cars found in Chicago River missing. So I think this is actually an update. This week, our missing series looks into the case of Lanine Rogers. The young deaf mother went missing back in January, all the way back in 1981. Can you imagine that? I don't think we've done anything on this. Well, the case has gone cold over the decades. Her daughter believes that her father may have been involved in Lanine's disappearance. Though Lanine's husband has not been named a suspect in her case, she's worked with a private investigator to find out new details about her mother's case. She's also pushing for a law advocating for families whose loved ones are missing. Okay, so this is, I pulled up her bio here. So let's share this and show him Dave so I can get triggered. Okay. Hold on a second.
Maybe was
Whoops.
3.
I don't know, let's back this up a little bit. I don't know what's going on to volume here.
Missing person case that isn't getting much attention. Every missing person matters, no matter their race, their background, or their circumstances. And by highlighting these cases and sharing their stories, we believe every case is solvable, and together we can bring answers to the family and friends of the missing. This week's featured case is a mystery stretching more than 4 decades, more than 40 years since Allison Diker has wondered what happened to her mom.
Maybe was 3, 4 the most. I remember she was curling her hair. She had this long, beautiful blonde hair. And I was just kind of sitting, and I just remember being in awe of how beautiful she was.
Lenine Rogers vanished in 1981. She was 29 years old at the time, living with her husband.
Right, so let's, I'm just going to kind of read this. Actually, no, hold on a second here. I might have done something on this before because this sounds familiar, but I don't think I did it live on this here. So this is coming from Season of Justice here. That's her there. At the time of disappearance, she was 29, so she'd be 73 now. Date of incident, I don't know how recent this is, so this might be off. Date of incident 1/7/1981, so that was done in the winter. Summary of case: Season of Justice announces a new cold case. Billboard campaign for this. This was done a while ago. Lonnie Rogers has been missing since January 7, 1981 from Hayfield Township, Pennsylvania. She's a Caucasian female who is profoundly deaf and cannot speak fluently as a result. Lenine is 5'5", weighs 140 pounds, has sandy brown hair, gray eyes, and freckled complexion and pierced ears. So she probably wouldn't have sandy brown hair now. It was reported that Lenine was last seen by her husband, Clint Buddy Rogers. How old was he at the time? Between 2 and 3 a.m. during a snowstorm. That she left after the two had an argument. Yeah, he did it. She left behind her purse, hearing aids, medication, keys, and 2 small children. And you're probably going to hear the same thing, like, why would somebody leave their children behind? Season of Justice is honored to support Lenine's family and dedicated team supporting this billboard. Okay, so that's kind of like a little bit of a. Let's go back now. We'll stop sharing that. Dee Dee did it. I don't think Dee Dee was alive at the time. All right, hold on. Here we go.
Husband Bud in Erie, Pennsylvania, when she disappeared. Coming up, red flags in that relationship and Allison's push now all these years later to unlock evidence in this case that has been kept sealed for so long. First, we have several other missing cases that we want to update you on. The search for Sebastian Rogers continues in Tennessee and beyond. The 15-year-old from Tennessee has been missing now for 18 months. The FBI once again asking for information about.
This is such an awful case, man. I hope this this case here. I should do a live on this at some point. This is just somebody in this case is lying, is my opinion. I always felt like Suzanne was probably very kind-hearted mom wife. Yeah, absolutely. She definitely didn't deserve that.
About Sebastian's case. The agency is offering a $50,000 reward for any information and tips that can lead to Sebastian. Contact the Sumner County Sheriff's Office or the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation if you have a tip, big or small. Sebastian is on the autism spectrum. His mom says when she woke up on that morning of February 26th, 2024, Sebastian was gone. This week marks 25 years since the disappearance of Zachary Bernhardt. Zachary vanished from his home in Clearwater, Florida. He was 8 years old. His mother said that the apartment was unlocked and Zachary had been sleeping in her bed when she left for a walk and a swim. She worked late nights, odd hours, and that was not unusual for her. When she returned, Zachary was gone. There is renewed hope in a cold case dating back to 1986. Christopher Abieta's family says new evidence has come to light all of these years later. A new age progression photo shows what Christopher might look like today at the age of 39. The family says he was taken from his crib at his family's home in Colorado Springs. He was 7 months old at the time. Both his parents have sadly passed away, but his sister is pushing for answers. She says Christopher's father had told police about a person they believe was stalking the family at the time of his kidnapping. The sister claims police never interviewed that person. If you have any information that can help bring answers to this family and find out what happened to Christopher, you can contact the Colorado Springs Police Department. That number is on your screen. Now to this week's featured case, the disappearance of a young deaf mother from Western Pennsylvania at the time. Both of his
This from 1986. So,
his parents have sadly passed away, but his sister is pushing for
I'm going to try to do something on this kid too.
answers. She says Christopher's father had told police about a
It's got to be like the cutest little kid right there. Look at that.
person they believe was stalking the family at the time of his kidnapping. The sister claims police never interviewed that person.
12.
If you have any information that can help bring answers to this family and find
Were you playing hockey? Sorry.
out what happened to Christopher, you can contact the Colorado Springs Police Department. That number is on your screen. Now to this week's featured case, the disappearance of a young deaf mother from Western Pennsylvania, unsolved now for 4 decades. Lanine Rogers vanished in the middle of the night in 1981. Her daughter, only 5 years old at the time, has fought to get attention on this case. She's also fighting for a new law that would change things for missing families everywhere, because there is hope someone in the deaf community knows something. We've enlisted the help of a sign language interpreter to spread Lanine's story.
I'll tell you one thing. The hockey playoffs this year were intense, man. It was such a great. I love hockey too. I think hockey gets a bad rap, but there's nothing better than hockey playoffs, man. And this was a good year, man. Even though my Canadians were not there, it's still they were still good games for sure. These cases are so horrible. This woman here,
Besides a few seconds of 8mm film, Allison Diker has only one real memory of her mother, 29-year-old Lanine Rogers.
I maybe was 3, 4 at the most. I remember she was curling her hair. She had this long, beautiful blonde hair. And I was just kind of sitting, and I just remember being in awe of how beautiful she was.
She was born deaf, but you know, it didn't stop her at all. She was real bubbly, a lot of fun, always in a good mood, always.
In 1972, Lonnie, as she was known to her family, married Clinton Bud Rogers, who was also deaf. They lived on the second floor of this house outside Erie, Pennsylvania. Old photos show what looks like a happy couple. The family was even featured in a local news article about devices for the hearing impaired. But Lonnie's family says by the fall of 1980, the relationship had soured. Then a bombshell.
They found out that he had a record and that he had been in jail.
This is the criminal record report from my father. Things from breaking and entering, stealing cars, staging a robbery in his place of work.
Lonnie kicked Bud out, but in December, she agreed to let him stay for the holidays.
She allowed him to come back to the apartment and sleep on the couch so that he could be there Christmas morning with the kids. But then after the holidays, he refused to leave.
According to her family, Lonnie was fed up and planned to leave with the kids. But on the morning of January 7th, 1981, everything changed.
It's 3 o'clock in the morning. My father wakes me up and says, "Your mother left for another man. I need you to get up, help me get your brother. And I'm taking you to the babysitter so I can go find her."
We knew it was a lie. She would never do that. She would never leave her kids. And she would never leave her home without her hearing aid or a coat or a wallet. I mean, that's not Lonnie Ray.
Lonnie's father, a volunteer firefighter, organized a search party.
They searched the woods, they searched with dogs, they searched with helicopters, they searched the creek, but did not come up with anything.
Over the years, flyers, newspaper articles, billboards, Allison even wrote a book about the case. The only solid lead came just a few years ago when Allison heard a third-hand story about her father making mysterious trips to a wooded area.
He kept stopping at this one location, and he would make the girlfriend stay in the car, and he would go into the woods and then come back.
And he allegedly had a chilling warning for the girlfriend.
One day, she said to him, she must have gotten a gut somehow, to say, Islani, you keep your mouth shut, or I'll put you in there with her.
Allison turned to Facebook, sharing the story with thousands of followers, saying police knew about the tip in 2006, but nothing was ever done. That's when a stranger offered to bring cadaver dogs.
The dogs came. We repeated it 3 times. And they alerted to the same exact spot every time. The owners of the property allowed us to come in and do whatever we needed to do. We cut that tree down. And so the tree was kind of like toppled over and the roots were exposed.
Yeah, in Canada, right? Like in Canada, if you're going to college for like a doctorate or something like that, or, you know, to become a lawyer, you're looked down upon. People want to know what the hell's wrong with you. You're supposed to be playing hockey. Hockey's just as big around here, though.
And they alerted to the stump of the tree.
Allison believes her mother's body was there and possibly moved.
Part of her would still be there and in the root system of that tree. So when the tree was taken down and the roots exposed, that is old.
Allison says it's time for the state police to let her see any information they have, but they refuse, saying it's still an open investigation.
What if I could connect A and B and that would get them to see? But they'll never know and I'll never know because they won't share it with me.
She's pushing for a law named after her mother, which would allow families to access.
My stupid cat wants to be on camera. Get away from me. Come on, Baku. Get out. Get out of here. Go away. Nobody wants to see you.
To cold case files after
grant families of missing persons access to case files after remaining
20 years.
Lonnie's law would change things not only for my family, but for the thousands, hundreds of thousands of families that are dealing with the same thing.
Meanwhile, a new private investigator is breathing new energy into the case.
My experience has been that bad people like to get things off their chest.
Jeff Walters began working the case in 2024. He and Allison have been reaching out to the tight-knit deaf community around Erie, Pennsylvania, and they hope our story will reach someone who has information.
I think by going to them with the video, with the sign language interpreter explaining that, maybe that would be enough to encourage that person or persons to come forward.
And Walters has this message directly to anyone involved.
I believe whoever's responsible, it's been weighing on them. The devil's
so
coming.
Hold on a second here. Sorry, I'm not keeping up with the chat here. Wherever Michael J. Fox is from, there are too many O's when he says sorry. Yeah. Let's see here. Let's get rid of this my face here. What's that, a boot? I watched a TV show called You Can't Do That on Television. I recently found out it was filmed in Canada. Yeah. There's pretty much nothing in Canada. No, Michael play in front of Shibby, so I'll see what kind of accidents happened. All right, so let's share this here. Hold on a second here. This is coming from this is probably the best site to go if you're looking for anything from missing people. missing people. This is a pretty good site here. So Lonnie Rogers was born on October 18, 1951 in Ohio. So she was born in Ohio to her parents, Maxine and Ray. Lenny was one of 3 children, all girls. Let's get to, I wonder if she had a diary. In 1970, the family, when Lenny was in the 20s, she met a man, Clinton Rogers, whom everyone called Bud. Bud was also deaf. They were both deaf. Is that the politically correct thing to say is deaf? I don't know. I know years ago, hard of hearing. They were introduced to each other at the Erie Silent Club in Erie, Pennsylvania. The two would quickly become an item. Married, the couple had 2 children, Allison and Aaron. They lived in a few places before ultimately moving into a second-floor duplex. So they lived in Hayfield Township, Pennsylvania. The area is known as Little Corners. By the fall of 1980, Lonnie and Bud separated. This was due to Bud's ongoing criminal activity. Bud was caught numerous times for its away, and at the end of 1980, with the holidays quickly approaching, was he paying child support? Probably not. Lonnie allowed Bud to stay at the home for the children. After the holidays passed, Bud refused to leave. This guy was a winner. On the night of January 7, 1981, Lonnie and Bud argued that this was sparked due to Bud not wanting to leave the home. As they agreed upon before, in the early morning hours, Bud woke up and realized Lonnie was not in the house at all. She left behind her hearing. Who would do that? The hearing aid, eyeglasses, medication card, and all the personal items. Bud woke up to the children and brought them to the babysitter. He wouldn't even want. The snowstorm that evening was fierce. It could have taken longer than normal to drive to the destination. He told her Lonnie had left him for another man. They all her daughter called Lonnie's father. Okay, so that's kind of like an idea of what's going on here. That's her there. That's him there. He's a real winner for sure. All right, so let's go back to hold on a second. And this is Hayfield Township here. So let's back out of this. So this is Lake Erie here. So I'm assuming it's really cold here, especially in the winter time when you have snowstorms come off here. But this is where that is. Crawford County population in 2020 was 2,700 or so. So it's not a very big. Is this Amish country? Facts more. But this is it anyways. It's pretty much in the middle of nowhere. Let's see. Total population 27.4. So I don't know. I can guarantee you there's probably very few gas stations. All right. Enough of that there. All right, so let's get out of this. We'll go back to this. No, we'll go back to this here.
The devil's been poking them out at the back. He's been talking to them. And you know what? It's never too late to make things right with your maker. And I think time is running out, though.
There is always hope. Joining us now, Lonnie's daughter, Allison. And in a moment, we'll be talking to an attorney about Allison's push to get Lonnie's law passed. Allison, thank you so much.
I love Montreal. We used to go. This is years ago when we had hair. We used to jump, and I used to a couple of buddies, a couple of girls. We'd jump in the car and either head north or south. So we'd either go to New York City or Canada. Montreal is arguably my third. It's just a great city. It's just amazing there, especially if you're young and you just want to go get into trouble or. But it's a great place. Canada is Nova Scotia is great. I've been to Mont Blanc too. I saw Inca Sun there. They were great. Other than that, it is what it is. It's like parts of Canada, they're very clean. Like there's no garbage anywhere on the street. Nobody throws anything outside the window. One thing you could say about French Canadians, they're very clean people.
Especially in cold cases, that we don't turn the page and that we continue to investigate them actively. So thank you. I know in your heart, you is responsible for your mom.
Yes, did I do a live on that? Hugh Martin's family. Yes, did I? Yes. I hope she's well. I hope Heather's well. I'm in Hibby's crawl space still, but I sneak out. All right, let's back to this.
I have not. When I was 14 years old,
I think I might have that one in the queue. I think was that recent, Jenny? Sorry.
Left me at a police station and said he was done
The
being
thing
a
is,
parent,
there's so
and
many
I have
cars
not
that are being
spoken to.
plucked out of water here. So I'll have to look into that. The Martin's family car. I'll look into that for sure. I think I have that in the queue, though. I think I have.
To him since then. So directly I had not. I had a lot of like emotional fear. I wasn't sure that it would ever be a productive conversation.
Has he been interviewed by the police, and where is he now?
So I continue to press and beg the police to talk to him. The police tell me that they have a lot of cases they're working. They're very busy, and I just get excuse after excuse after.
In the township, really? They're that busy?
Currently in jail. He has been in jail since April for violating a PFA against.
Who would ever leave their home without a hearing aid?
His former girlfriend. And he's due to be released sometime in October, and they
having a private investigator has helped push it forward. Are you hopeful that new leads reaching out to the deaf community will give you the final clues and answers that you need?
I am. I do believe that time, they say time heals wounds.
Okay, I'll look into that, Jenny. Martin's family car. Portland playlist though. When they pulled the car out, the undercarriage broke away from the body. Yes, I think I did that.
Walters may be able to be, subside a little bit. And I pray that after so many years, people who hold the answers are willing to come forward and share information, and that includes my father.
Take us to that wooded area and what it was like, possible clues.
Oh my gosh. So I was present when the dogs were searching, and I was watching them. Well, I say them, they ran them one at a time. And it was two different dogs, and they would like circle around the area, circle, and then end up at one specific tree and then sit. and the handler said that that was alerting to that particular spot, and my heart just, and they ran a different dog.
I wonder if this is Amish country. Does that look like, I mean, it's, I don't know if anybody's here from Pennsylvania, but it looks like Amish country to me.
From a different direction, and that dog did the same exact thing. Circle, 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 stop at the same exact.
In that moment, what did you feel?
The 70s were the best. I got the other channel going now. Apparently, I'm going to be doing it by myself, but I do know up where we do the reaction videos from the night. Right now, I'm working on the 1970 hit songs. I just did Sly and the Family Stone. So I'll be uploading that probably right after this on that channel there. But the 70s, in my opinion, 70s were the best for sure. 70s were the best time for buildings better when you're a kid. You know what I mean? But to me, the 70s were pretty good.
It was so crazy, but I hadn't really stopped to think about what if I do. And, my gut, like my stomach just turned thinking, could this be it? And that gut moment, where your body flushes thinking, oh my gosh, is this that moment? And it just never went any further.
I'll put it in the description at some point. I think it's Dean and Dino Reacts with capital D's. But he jumped out of it, so it's just me now. But I'm going to continue to do it because I think it's pretty cool. That channel there, I'm going to try to promote pretty heavily. This one here, probably not. This one here, I want to just continue to focus on, the true crime, the missing cases, all the important stuff.
Other than that.
What is your own theory, Alice?
Theory is that, so the night that she disappeared, he woke up my brother and myself up.
What a beautiful girl, though. I mean, honestly, look at this hair. This is definitely 70s hair right here. Because in the 80s, this hair turned into like a hairspray bun. There was just a whole bunch of hair in a hairspray bun. But this is definitely, she's a very, very attractive lady.
In the morning and said that she had left with another man. He took us to a babysitter who was also hearing impaired at 3 a.m. and didn't go to work until 6. So 6 a.m, he showed up at work. There were 3 hours there, and it would only take him 20 minutes to get to work. He drove a 4-wheel drive truck. My theory is that he hid her somewhere, and it may be that spot in the woods, but that he hid her 4-wheel drive truck. My theory is.
I was just looking at that chair, right? That's
and it would only take him 20 minutes to get.
Look at this chair, the armchair. They don't make chairs like that anymore, that's for sure.
To work. He drove a 4-wheel drive truck. My theory is that he hid her somewhere, and it may be that spot in the woods, but that he hid her somewhere.
You just can't beat the 70s, man. Look at these colors here. This is obviously a Polaroid, quick, one of those quick snaps here. White out here, terrible with light. Look at this
area. The woods are very dense. I think he hit her, and he hit her so well that no one found her.
You were 5 years old at the time of your mom's disappearance. You mentioned that you were 14 when your dad dropped you off. And who else were you in the care of?
So off and on, they would, from the time that my mother disappeared, I was 5, and I went to his sister's home to live for a while. And then he would
I'm not
take
sure if I like that dress.
my brother taking care of us and said, you're going back to live with him. And then foster care would get involved. Neighbors, friends would take us in. And inevitably, we always were returned to him. That pattern continued until I was 14. And when he dropped me off at the police station to be my brother's birthday that day, so lucky or unlucky for him, he wasn't dropped off. I was earlier in the day, knew that if I was with my father, things were not good, and she was checking in with me. And at that point, I just said, I'm fine. Like, why bother even saying that things aren't good? And she gave me her home phone number, and I thought, whatever, and I stuck it in my pocket. Well, then at the police station, the officer said, who can you call? And after my aunt said, no, they're not coming back here, I said, oh, well, here, my teacher said to call if I needed anything, you can try her. And shockingly, my school guidance counselor said to the police officer, I'm on my way. And that's who became my family, and how I,
Mustang's got a good channel too. Mustang's awesome. There's a lot of great creators in here. And I try to promote as many as possible. I'm really trying to get, there's JCN, who's really good too. JCN's really awesome. Doodlebug too. There's a lot of great channels. How often did you crimp your hair, Shibby?
I was able to reach for healthy choices and opportunities, and when I was not told.
So funny, right? Like photographs to video cameras in like 2 years, right? Everybody time had those little cameras, but then everything like VCR or VHS, VCR, and everybody had those humongous VCR cameras. And once they created the VCR, the huge video cameras, nobody moved, right? People would just be frozen. Look at these videos here. Look at all the light being blocked out here.
They said, you will become something, you will become whatever you want to be. And I was able to kind of break the cycle and the pattern of abuse and move on.
Wow. What about your brother, Allison? How is he doing? Where did he end up?
So unfortunately, that's why I say lucky or unlucky for him. He was still with my father and endured a lot of abuse, children's services.
Jocelyn's okay too. I haven't seen Jocelyn around in a while. Hope she's well.
Kept coming in and taking, and my father never cared, never followed up.
Remember the beer shampoo? Remember, what was the name of that beer shampoo? It had beer in it. I think people used to actually have shampoo and then a beer so that they could put beer and shampoo together.
They did so my father abused him, beat him up, and they ended up in court where they did a joint restraining, lived on his own. He's, now has a family of his own and, dealing with a lot of that trauma from his past, I'm sure.
Wow.
That's crazy. My sister and I painted our little brother's nails and put our mom's bra on him, and he was 4. Why?
And not knowing what happened to your mom and not having your mom in your life, how has it shaped who you are, Allison, today?
Well, I'm proud to say this is my 26th year of teaching. I am a special education teacher, and it is the most fitting end for me. I was destined who took, an interest in my life and helped me become who I am today. So I'm kind of paying it forward to my students, and I try to help them and love on them as much as possible.
Wow, what a blessing and what a gift you are. And not only passing that message along to your students, but trying to advocate for other families who have a missing loved one through Lonnie's Law. Tell me how that came about and what's the status of that quest?
So that came about from disappointment. I thought, what do I do with this? What if I actually never find her? What do I do? Do I just keep feeling that emotion and that disappointment? And I felt pain into purpose and use this to help others. And then that is her legacy. Her missing is not her legacy. What going forward, helping others and helping others to rise above the situations they're in and choose their own destiny. I'm not a child of the system. I am a teacher, a mother, a wife. And I felt inspired by
these cases are just so sad. I mean, this is a case that goes back years. I mean, this person here that they're talking about here, even if she was not found and alive, she'd be well in her 70s. So it's just sucks.
That thought. So with that, one of the things that became so alarmingly clear to me is how is about Lonnie's Law, about my story, about my experiences.
I'm also going to be playing one of our good friends, Kenny Maines, one of Kenny Maines' cases here tonight at some point.
There are hundreds of thousands, because you cover these stories of people telling the same story, please begging the police to please talk to us, please share information, please help us help you. And it just is a dead end.
I think there should be a law enacted where if a case goes a specific turn the investigation over to a specific cold case unit that specifically deals with those types of cases. And it's more of like a family enriched type investigation where, because I mean, these families deserve answers, and I know that they like to hold some of these cases, like they say, close to them. If there's a prosecution or a trial, they have some evidence, some information that they don't share to the public. But some of these cases, the person's probably already dead or pretty much getting there. So just release the information. Nobody really cares about a trial if the guy's 93 years old, right? Just release the information, get these families some justice. It's just, some of these cases here are just, I think it's a cop-out, to be honest with you.
And it doesn't need to be that way. And from that to try to change legislation, 20 years is a lifetime. I even think 20 years is too long. But if I'm going to compromise.
I mean, honestly, what's the sense of trying somebody who's 90 or 80? Does it really matter? I mean, I can't speak for the families because I don't know what they're going through. But if the suspect is obviously well past 70, just who cares? I mean, just release the information. Let's get some justice. Let's get the families some information. Who cares about the prosecution at that point? I think it's just wrong.
After 20 years, there's nothing new and fresh about this case. It's time for other answers. It's time for different angles and takes on a case.
But you're going to have a huge trial for a 90-year-old, right? Like it just doesn't.
And
it doesn't make
what
any
I'm
sense.
hoping that I'm currently searching for a legislator to adopt this and take it to the floor. That's where I'm at right now with that.
Have you met any hurdles or challenges in doing so? How optimistic are you that you can bring it to fruition?
I'm very resilient. So I don't take no for and do whatever I know to do. I have met with a lot of resistance. Unfortunately, the way our legal system is set up, our country is founded on checks and balances, but that's not true in law enforcement. There's no one to force them to follow what families. There's, I about a month ago got an email from the investigator saying, I'm no longer communicating with you about this investigation in hopes of pursuing. Talk to me anymore. Like, how is that just? And there's too much too much capitalism, too much freedom, too much lack of accountability when it comes to law enforcement, and that is what I'm butting into. Wow. Because I can't move forward without them. They want to work hand in hand.
Follow it, Allison. Stay in touch with us as you continue to try to push this and pursue it. And thank you again for being a voice. And you left out survivor when describing yourself, not a victim of the system. So thank you.
Very true.
All right, joining us now to talk more about Allison's efforts and families like hers to get something like Lonnie's Law passed and giving families access to information in court cases is attorney John Fishwick. John, thank you for looking at Allison says she's facing legally when it comes to bringing something like this to light. What might be the hurdles that she's facing and why?
Good morning. I think it's a great concept, Lonnie's Law. After 20 years, that's a lost person cases, as you well know. And most of those cases, those files haven't been touched in years. So I think it's a great concept to have them revealed to the family, the victim's family after 20 years. But there will be some resistance. What law enforcement will typically say is, look, we don't want anybody interfering with our investigation. Investigation is open in their opinion many times. They'll say, look, we could get a phone call tomorrow on a cold case. We don't want you interfering with that. And they'll also say, law enforcement will say, hey, look, we've got manpower issues. We can put so many people on so many cases, and we've got thousands of missing persons cases. So there's some hurdles. I think law enforcement will probably initially oppose it, but I think it's a great concept because ultimately you want to put people together, the victim's family and law enforcement, put their heads together for line of investigation and bring justice. There's bad folks out there. Let's find them. Let's put law enforcement and the families together. So I think it's a great concept. And listening to Allison, I think she's got a lot of grit. I think she could get something done.
Yeah, a lot of resistance. John Fishwick, thank you for jumping on with us to talk about this. I'll see you again soon. That can help in this investigation into Lonnie's disappearance. Lenine Rogers, contact the Pennsylvania State Police. The number is 814-332-6911. A dive team recently recovered more than 90 cars in the Chicago River in the ongoing search to solve a decades-old missing mystery. We've got video of the Chaos Divers in action, looking for a 1969 Oldsmobile that belonged to a couple that vanished in 1970. Edward and Stefania Andrews were from Arlington Heights, Illinois. It's a suburb of Chicago when they disappeared on their way home from a cocktail party. Still missing. That's where the Chaos Divers come in. They work to help solve these cold cases. During their search of the Chicago River, though, they located far more than one car. The team found more than 90 vehicles in the water. Joining us now from Chaos Divers, Jacob Grubbs, the founder and owner, and Lyncher. I am amazed by the work that you guys do, even more so that you made this incredible find in the Chicago River. Did you have any idea when you went into the water what you guys would discover?
I knew that there would be vehicles here just with Chicago's history. Didn't anticipate, I think right before we left, we were close to 140.
Yeah, 140 cars. And how do you explain that? I mean, what's the explanation how all these cars end up in the river?
There's a lot of insurance frauds. There's a lot of crime. Maybe somebody did something bad and then they wanted to dispose of the vehicle so they wouldn't get caught. There's just a lot of different variations, accidents,
Mafia.
health issues to where it could be an accident. There's also self-harm to speak of, but it's crazy.
I'm guessing since you guys started your organization 5 or so years ago, this is the biggest find in one body of water that you've uncovered?
Yes.
In terms of
time, we were right around 140. However, when we were just in Canada a couple of months ago, we found 138. So this is just barely toppling over that number, but then this is the most
astounding. Tell me about your mission, because although this is just amazing to hear that many cars were found, I mean, the mission is important. It's grim. It's linked to a lot of unknown mysteries. Why did you start to do this?
When I first started, I wanted to become a scuba diver, and I've always had a joy of fishing and being on the water, so I would want to see what was under. And then I noticed it was a lot of trash and a lot of just stuff that didn't just go out and have fun dives and clean up and go treasure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that, the further back you go, right, people didn't think that at any time they'd be able to go in the water and find these cars, right? So, probably one of the best places to put them. Technology changes, bro.
Diving, and I was honored enough to be able to work with a team called Team Waters out of St. Louis. There's sonar search and recovery.
Does the sound choppy? The sound is choppy. You hear it choppy? I don't hear it choppy.
Recovery specialist. They've been able to bring home 104 lost loved ones in the past. What did they do? 20 years. So a very good team. Dennis took me under his wing, and he was able to show me what I needed to do to get the job done and to help these families.
All right, hold on. Let me get out of that there, and I'll let me know if it changes here in a second. Here, but the video playing is chopping. How about if the video stops? Is it choppy now? Let me know. Staticky. All right, how about now? It's still choppy now? When you talk, it's choppy too. How about now? Choppy? No? All right, well, maybe it'll, I don't know why it would be choppy. Hold on, let me get out of this here. It sounds to me on my end, it's still kind of choppy. The sound is working on my end. I don't know. Less choppy. Okay. All right, let's go to your boyfriend here. This is the press conference for the Travis Decker thing, and I want to try to find out where this is. So this happened 14 hours ago. The search could be soon over for Travis Decker, the man accused of killing his 3 young daughters in Cheyenne County. Sheriff's investigators are waiting on DNA lab results to confirm whether remains found in Leavenworth are Deckers. And I'll try to look up Leavenworth. Grindstone Mountain. Cheyenne County Sheriff Mike Morrison said decomposing remains were discovered on Grindstone Mountain at an elevation of about 4,000 feet. surrounded by personal items such as clothing believed to belong to the 32-year-old father. So let me look that up. Grindstone Mountain.
All right, so good evening. I'm Saline County Sheriff Mike Morrison. Behind me, you'll see members of our federal partners, the U.S. Border Patrol, U.S. Marshal Service, and I also have a member of my administration, would be Chief Ryan Moody, overseeing our detectives unit as Chief Operations. I appreciate all of you coming here today. We're going to give an update just based off our operations that we've been conducting. These were pre-planned operations for a fourth search related to the Travis Decker case. And this is in regards to the murder of Peyton Evelyn.
Let me know if you guys can hear that.
And Olivia. Again, we have not lost sight of what we're focused on doing. That's bringing justice to those three girls. We are close to justice being served and law prevailing. During our search yesterday around 15:30 hours, that'd be 3:30 p.m., our search teams did locate an anomaly that was seen in AI imaging from our drones. In closer inspection, when we got that, we did see that it was potentially a shirt. We were able to get units on the ground that did confirm that the shirt was consistent with what we had seen in previous surveillance photos with Travis Decker. So I am confirming the shirt that we saw on scene is a match for what Travis was last seen wearing, in addition to shorts, which were U.S. Rangers shorts. They were also a match, and also personal items to include chewing tobacco, was consistent with what he had chewed, a bracelet, which is consistent with what we'd seen in photos of him wearing. So, collecting those items, we've sent them off to the Washington State Patrol's crime lab. We're hopeful that we'll get those results back soon. I appreciate Chief John Batiste and the Washington State Patrol for continuing to be a constant ally for us. Even in my call this morning, I asked if he could expedite it. I understand the Chelan County Sheriff's Office is not the only agency within Washington State investigating a homicide and looking for quick results back from a DNA test.
Okay, so hold on a second. Let me hide your boyfriend for a second, and we're going to go here. So this is Grindstone Mountain here, and this is what they were looking before. This is Wenatchee. This is basically where they were before, but they've been all around this area here, especially the last couple of months, couple of weeks, I mean. So there's Leavenworth there. There's Wenatchee there, so that's where. So he basically I'm pretty sure what happened is once he did the deed with his three daughters here, he went up here and unalived himself, probably the same day, because they've been heavily in this area here the last couple of weeks for sure. All right, so that's where they are, and this is Grindstone Mountain here, so. Yeah. So, but they're going to wait for. They're probably going to wait for Farmer's here. Farmer's here. Good to see Farmer. Farmer's amazing. I hope you're feeling better, buddy. All right, so let's get out of there and we'll go back to the press conference to the boyfriend.
So, Chief Batiste, Washington State Patrol, we appreciate it. We understand there's a lot of pressure. We're going through the process.
If you want to find anybody, just contact the U.S. Marshals, man. They'll find them for sure.
Processing of the decomposition that we found amongst that clothing has been challenging for the State Patrol's crime lab. They were able to get DNA off that sample, and they're comparing it to the DNA samples that we have in place for Travis Decker. I have asked them to take their time, not rush this. Our investigative team has continued to be out on the ground today with Washington State Patrol's crime lab team.
You feeling better, buddy? That's good. Guy, Farmer's an awesome guy.
We've also had body parts today to include 2 feet, some femurs, and also some vertebrae. We've requested that these items all be sent off to Washington State Patrol's crime lab for additional testing to be compared. Again, we do not want to rush this process. We'd like to have DNA results this evening, but I understand in the interest of justice to ensure this case is handled properly, we have asked them to stand by, test more samples, and we hope to get those in the next couple of days. We're appreciative for our federal partners that have continued to be biased throughout this process. We reckon to our allies to come and give us more assistance where needed, but we do appreciate the fact that Whitney and her family have been very cooperative with us. And
I will say one thing. I'm pretty sure that his ex-wife, probably the only survivor of the family, is him. Because you never know. I mean, if he's capable of unaliving his 3 kids, then he's capable of unaliving her too. Yes, exactly. This guy here, this whole case is just so depressing. You know, it's like, how can you do this to kids, and how can you do this to health illness? Is a huge thing, man, and I'm not making excuses for the guy, but obviously he, wasn't right.
we're trying to bring them peace of mind and closure for this. We think we're one step closer. As soon as we get the results back, we are optimistic that these results will confirm that we have located Mr. Decker. But until that time, we're going to stand by and wait for the 100% confirmation. For the meantime, I'm going to bring.
They did put it in for rush, though. I'm pretty sure about 80%, 89%.
Our ally since day one, assisting us, leading search effort, and I'll go ahead and let him take questions.
My name is Gavin Duffy. I'm the Chief Deputy States Marshal from the Eastern District of Washington.
The U.S. Marshals are freaking awesome. They will, if you're missing, they'll find you.
You guys have been on site. You've been with this for months now, 3.5 months. You've pretty much been working hand in hand with Chelan. Can you explain why it took so long to be able to find this specific spot? It's less than a mile from where that campground is.
I mean, I think look behind us into the backdrop here. The terrain is anywhere in this country, and that's kind of what we found. I mean, it's incredibly steep.
It's stupid questions, right? These are just really, really stupid, dumb questions, man. Like, looking for a body in a mountainous terrain like that it's worse than looking for a needle in a haystack. It's like you don't know, you can't. It's just a body. So to the fact that they found him, and going back to the whole Susan Morphew case, right? The fact that they found her is just amazing. Like, people don't understand, like, the humans only live on 1% of land. Like, the rest is all just wilderness. Just, it's crazy.
Operations group and our partners with Border Patrols, Borstar, and BORTAC, or all 3 experts in this terrain to do it. And I think we're pretty proud of the fact, using all the resources we could across the law enforcement and public safety spectrum to really drill down and find these remains, which were very, very hard.
Gibby and I need to go back to the Vinny with the OnlyFans model there.
Hopefully, I'm confident.
Can you tell me a little bit about what it was like whenever whoever the teams were that initially went up there? That was that moment. You guys thought, oh, got it. Can you explain a little bit about what that feels like for you?
I think it's the 1 yard line. I mean, we want to get across the goal line with the DNA, but we're pretty, a good feeling. We put a lot of work. I mean, hundreds of people in law enforcement and other career fields have touched this. So to get to that 1 yard line where we are,
You kind of had to find him because you don't know. I mean, I'm pretty sure they knew, we knew, everybody knew he was pretty much dead. But unless you find the body, you don't know.
all right now, maybe even a little closer. It felt pretty good for everybody working this case in any way.
There are some people online that go, what do you say to people who were curious about him ever going that far, in your expert opinion?
I mean, we appreciate the curiosity, right? I mean, we're in the business of finding fugitives and human beings, and they do unique things. And so, I mean, that's how we're thinking as well. But we use fact-based policing, and we utilize our partnerships with other agencies, state, local, and federal, and then we kind of narrow in on where we need to be looking. And for the most part, we're pretty successful most of the time.
Is this search in that area wrapped up, or are you guys starting?
They don't go to Canada. They go to Florida. They go to like Eastern Florida for some reason. It's weird.
Anyone going back up to that site at all?
At this point, no, we're going to shut it down for.
Pertinent's here. Hey, Pertinent, good to see you. Dino's OnlyFans account was closed due to inactivity. Lack of interest. That's good, funny. Oh my God. Pertinent's here. Pertinent's awesome. Always good to see Pertinent in here. All right, so let's go back to this here.
To it. And then we're
just going over the press conference from the basically Dee Dee's boyfriend here about the Travis Decker thing.
The next case, and if there's another case in the mountains, I'm pretty confident Border Patrol will be with us, and we'll be back at it.
Based on the evidence found there, if it is Travis Decker's remains, did it look like someone had been camping there a while or someone on the move?
You know, ma'am, I don't really have the answer to that specific question.
Can you tell me a little bit about what, say, the next few days looks like for you? Is this something that's going to be more searching, more field work, or is this just now waiting for that DNA evidence?
I think it's a lot of waiting.
How does that feel?
You know, you want to be, again, you want that 100% confidence in what we're doing, and in this situation, because of DNA, we can get there. But I think we'll be looking at our phones, but moving off the rest of our weekends and traveling back to wherever we're from.
Can you tell me a little bit about the condition of those bones and those pieces that you found? Were they not?
I'm almost 90% sure that that's him. I know that they collected some bones a couple of weeks ago, but I don't think that they were his. I don't think they're the same bones. I think the bones they collected a few weeks ago were just either animal bones or something else. But these here, this is about a mile away from where he, right as soon as he, shortly after he unalived his 3 kids, he probably unalived himself. That's just my opinion. He walked out somewhere in the woods and did it. Whoops.
Seemingly disturbed up there.
Ma'am, I really, but anthropology, I'm a little limited.
Can you say whether a firearm was discovered with Mr. Decker?
I do not believe there was, no.
Any hint of foul?
Hold on a second. Can you say whether a firearm was discovered?
With Mr. Decker?
I do not believe there was, no.
So he didn't shoot himself. That's kind of strange. Let's go over that question again here.
I do not believe there was, no.
That's a little strange.
Any hint of foul play there, just based on an initial look at the scene?
Again, as an experienced fugitive investigator, I'd leave that to the homicide investigators and the very qualified Chelan County team. So I'm not in a position to really feel that one.
This is obviously hit close to home for a lot of people. Wenatchee is a very small community, so is Chelan County. Any message you have in terms of the
community? And I mean,
Nicole's still not feeling good. Why would the gun not be? Why would there not be a weapon there? That's weird. That's kind of weird.
it's national level attention. We all want closure on this case, but so we're really hoping we get across. You keep using the analogy to get across the goal line and be done with this. But for the Marshal Service and every member of law enforcement, from here we just move on to the next violent fugitive. That's unfortunate, but that's the reality.
Mr. Morrison, if I could ask you a question. You guys are from here, you live here, your guys have been part of this since day one. Kind of the same question for you.
This is the guy right here. This is the guy that everybody's jumping over hoops for. right here. This is, the guy.
How does it feel knowing you're so close to 3.5 months of just anxiety maybe coming to an end?
We understand the work's not done. We're still in the midst of a homicide investigation. And as you asked too, if something were to happen to Travis that was not natural or of his own cause, we're going to investigate it as a homicide investigation. We owe that to his family. We owe that to him. He's still a human being. He was a brother. He was a son. He was a family member. So again, I find his acts to be heinous and what he's alleged to have conducted and done. But overall, still going to treat him with respect. I said this throughout the process. We didn't want any harm to come to him, and we'll still treat his remains with the kind of respect that anyone deserves. So we'll look into it. But we understand this is one step closer, as we said, to serving justice and ensuring that the law was issued. So we want to make sure this is closed out properly. We want to make sure the family has the closure. I want Whitney to sleep better at night.
I believe he was attacked by an animal. Because if there's no gun around, then he didn't shoot himself. Unfortunately, if you shoot yourself and kill yourself, or unalive yourself with a pew-pew, then the pew-pew is probably going to be pretty close to where you unalived yourself. It's not like you're going to, leave it somewhere and come back and get it.
Night. I want our family to sleep better at night. I want the community to know that our agency does not give up, no matter how daunting and how challenging the task is. We understand this is not easy. We get the community's frustration. We get our citizens' frustration. But overall, we'd love to have had this done in 3 days. Absolutely. It would save us a lot of resources. But it wasn't for a lack of trying, it wasn't for a lack of resources. We brought in some of the best minds in the country, from the FBI, U.S. Marshal Service, U.S. Forest Service, even the U.S. Army's criminal.
That area I showed you between Wenatchee and where they found him. I mean, there was a helicopter out there every hour for like the last 2 weeks. So they brought in drones. They brought in the newer drones that they have, the U.S. Marshals have. So they're basically more like a heat-seeking or whatever they call that type drone. But they were intent upon finding this guy, and I don't think for 1 minute they felt like he went very far. Literally like finding a needle in a haystack. He could be there. You walk over him and never see him. So it's like, I mean, there's bear up there. I'm pretty sure there's coyote, there's wolf, there's vultures, there's everything picking him apart, so it's not easy to find those things.
We brought in experts in that field. We did everything. We talked with each other. We met afterwards, debriefed to make sure that we didn't make any mistakes. This could be a criminal case that was going to trial. We didn't want any chance that this would be defeated when we went to trial. And again, I think we're close to the goal we wanted. But we're not going to rush. We're not going to pat ourselves in the back yet. We're not going to say congratulations until we get the results back. We know 100%. This is Travis Decker. That is our suspect. That is our only suspect. That is the only evidence.
Isn't that a MILF? Aren't you a MILF? I thought you were a MILF. What's the difference between a cougar and a MILF?
So just to confirm, that is who we are looking for. That's who I believe we found. And we hope the Washington State Patrol can confirm that soon.
One last question.
Nope. Again, I'm not going to put pressure on Washington State Patrol's crime lab. I want them to take their time. I want them to make sure those results are 100% confirmed. Again, this is closing out a very significant case in our county's history. This was the largest manhunt in Chelan County history. This is the most heinous or heinous homicide in Chelan County history. And we need to make sure it's closed properly and that we make sure that we're convincing our community that we did the right thing, we have the right subject, and there's no other person out there.
One last question for you or Gavin. I saw a press release that there was a key fob that was found. If one of you could talk a little bit about that, I believe it was found in the river.
Correct.
Yeah, that's what I would say. I think DD would be considered more of a MILF than a cougar. Same kind of thing, I think. Baby daddy is 6 years younger than me.
follow-up, and we really appreciate Sheriff Knowles and Spokane County Sheriff's Office for not only bringing their helicopter out here with their air support unit, but also bringing members of their dive team, and they were able to get into spots that National Park Service and our Chelan County Sheriff's Office, Swiftwater Rescue, and Key Fob in close proximity to our scene, which was great. I mean, it's an additional piece of.
They were able to find the key fob. They pretty much know it's him. They have to get the DNA.
Evidence. We've collected it. We've put it in our evidence room, and it's been logged. But again, that's what it shows for cooperation and teamwork, and just bringing additional resources that we did. But again, appreciation to Sheriff Knowles.
Tons of even just the insects and bugs will tear you apart if they have enough time. So it's just tough finding bodies in woods. I mean, people go missing forever if they're in the right place. All right, so that's the end of this clown guy. Sorry, I didn't mean to say that. Hello, go Cougar MILF Nicole. Yes, we're glad to find him though, because he's a dangerous guy. All right, so I want to go to this story here because I've been following this too for a long time now. Seems because they found another body here in Wareham, Massachusetts. So let's go to that now. And I'll pull this up here. So hold on a second here. The right screen here, and here we go. Okay, so I don't know if you guys were with me last time we covered this over here, this supposed New England SCare, right? We did a couple of lives on this here. The consensus is in New England that there isn't, and in some sort of a non-consensus that there is. So we'll see. So another body's been found here in Wareham, Massachusetts, and I'll pull up the map here. The family of I posted this on my community page here because that's when they found her. So family of Amy Nadolny's missing Middleborough woman said she was found days ago here. So this woman's been missing for a little while here. So here we go with this here.
Breaking first at 11, the family of a.
So this woman here went missing from Middleborough shortly here, but they've been around here collecting evidence here. So
in Wareham today belonged to Amy Nadolny. You can see Sky Ranger over the scene earlier today. Thanks for staying up with us. I'm Glenn Jones. Nadolny's mother confirmed the news to NBC 10's Aaron Logan. She joins us live in the newsroom. Aaron, this
mother is heartbroken. For days, Patty Nadolny was waiting for that call, saying her 41-year-old daughter was safe. Instead, the unthinkable. The Plymouth District Attorney's Office says a woman's body was found this morning along the train tracks. Nadolny says it was her daughter.
For nearly 2 weeks, Amy Nadolny's family has been asking for help trying to find her. The Middleborough woman was last seen on Sunday, September 7th in Wareham. When Susan Murphy noticed a lot of police in the back of this Main Street plaza Friday morning, she was concerned.
The train tracks, if you walk behind here, you can get to the train tracks.
The Plymouth wooded area along the tracks. You can see them searching for evidence both on the tracks and nearby.
I assumed that they found her, which I was grateful for.
that's just sad. But I want to hold on a second here. So we went over this We went over this a couple of weeks ago again. You never want to be a mod anywhere, too much responsibility. You don't have to have responsibility here. All right, so what am I doing right here? Okay, so actually, let me get out of this one here. This is much better here. Okay, so as of this year here, I think this is all this year here. These are where some of the bodies are found. The Groton one is out. We know the Groton one isn't connected in any of these whatsoever because they already have. I mean, I shouldn't say that because they have a suspect on that one there. But anyway, so here's the other ones here. You got Springfield, Mass, Killingly, Connecticut, New Haven, Connecticut, Newark, Connecticut. We got Plymouth, Massachusetts here, and Foster, Rhode Island. But now, let's do this one here. So we got Newark, New Haven, Foster, Pawtucket, Taunton, Plymouth, Milton, Framingham. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So minus this one here, so that's 10. So now we're going to kind of put in. I'm not saying this is connected to any of those. And this is Wareham. So she's from here, and she was found here. So if you look, Plymouth is there. So this is in this general area here. Again, along this route here, along all of these routes here, 195 or I-95, 495. It's just strange how all of these unalivings here are along these routes here. And let's go back to, hold on a second here. It's just very, very coincidental here. It's just my opinion. This is really weird. Because if you look at this map again, here's 95, here's the routes. You know, the highways here. There's 91. This basically goes from New York all the way up to Vermont. And then this is 95. This is basically the New England thruway here. But all of these unalivings are along these routes here. It's just so strange that now we can put a Wareham one in here, right in here. It's strange. All right, so let's go back to very, very strange. And that the last video we watched is not comforting at all from the police. So let's go here.
You know, like, I don't know what happened to her.
Neither does Amy Nadolny's mother. She tells NBC 10 that she's waiting for answers from the medical examiner, but confirmed her daughter's body was found here. Wareham residents who've been following the story about Nadolny's disappearance were hoping for a positive outcome.
Well, I guess she had a young son. I feel terrible for the son and family. And I guess she's been missing for a while.
It's horrible.
After speaking to Amy Nadolny's mother but haven't heard back, Middleborough police have since posted on social media asking anyone with information about this unattended death investigation to contact state police. Live in the newsroom, Erin Logan, NBC 10 Boston.
Okay, so I'm going to keep an eye on that there. That's I mean, obviously they're not trying to connect these at all, but do you remember I wanted to play this too. So we'll play this. When was this done? Because I did the live on the tropics the other day, and I said we were going to do that. So let's go back to that later. But it's just kind of strange how there's all these bodies. I mean, there's just a lot now. All right, so I do want to go to this here. This guy here, I've been. I wish Charles was in here because I'm pretty sure Charles knows about this guy here. All right, so this is where Kenny Maines comes in. So this was done 3 days ago. This is this story of this guy here, Joseph Naso. Some of you guys might know this guy. Some of you guys might not. LA City Police, I believe they've solved the oldest cold case unaliving a young woman found at Thornton Beach in January 1974. New documentary ties convicted African American victim, and I'll pull up his bio, but they're linking this one here to him. So this was, like I said, this is kind of like breaking over the last few weeks here. This is 3 days ago, and I think Kenny Maines helped out on this here. I'm not sure.
ABC 7
but
News,
I'm pretty sure.
Daly City Police believe they have solved their oldest cold case homicide. A young woman found at Thornton Beach in January of 1974.
So at 57, I'm just finding out what happened to my mother. That's a long time.
It certainly is. Now a new documentary ties convicted serial killer Joseph Naso to the case.
And I-Team reporter Dan Noyes is here with the latest on this. Dan, you've been following this too.
Well, JR and I'm a death row inmate befriended Naso, and over the course of 10 years got him to admit to 26 killings. Police agencies around the Bay Area are now working on these new leads.
During years of conversations in the San Quentin prison yard, former death row inmate Bill Noguera tells the I-Team, convicted serial killer Joseph Naso admitted murdering more than 24 women. Naso freely discussed the list of his 10 favorite killings that investigators found in his Reno home, except for number 5, girl from Miami near Down Peninsula.
And I said, well, how did you get a girl from Miami there? He said, and he very cryptically said, Bill, she's not from the East Coast. And if I pressed him too much, he would really just wave his hand off and not want to talk about it.
Noguera says Naso never revealed the victim's name, but did indicate she was visiting her sister at the time. Noguera handed the clues to cold case detective.
From anybody missing from Miami with the same MO or signature that Joe had, and it was driving me batty.
Maines then remembered that Naso was sometimes called the alphabet killer because the victims from his court case had first and last names that began with the same letter.
Check this out. This is so strange. Like, this is, did you catch that? Hold on a second.
Maines then remembered that Naso was sometimes called the alphabet killer because the victims from his court case had first and last names that began with the same letter. Roxine Rogash.
This is eerie. This is really strange. All of these, or most of the victims, had the same letters, first and last name. And how would he know that?
Marin County, 1977. Carmen Colon, Contra Costa County, 1978. Pamela Parsons, 1993. And Tracy Tafoya, 1994, both in Yuba County. He checked Peninsula cold cases and found another double initial victim, 19-year-old Charlotte Cook, who had been strangled. Her body dumped over the cliff just above the Thornton Beach Ranger Station. Cook was last seen alive, leaving Oakland to visit her sister in San Francisco.
You have everything lining up, the double initials, Peninsula, visiting her sister, and the way she was killed, obviously. So to me, it just all kind of made sense then.
It also made sense why Naso didn't want Noguera to know about Charlotte Cook, for fear of reprisal from fellow inmates.
Naso was worried about being attacked for having killed an African-American woman.
Absolutely. And it made perfect sense because he understood that because I explained it to him. So there was no way he was going to mention that because he would be suffering the consequences of that action.
The only thing Maines couldn't explain was the girl from Miami part. The answer came as he walked the blocks around MacArthur Boulevard in Oakland, where Naso kept an apartment in which he photographed women, some who became his victims.
This is what he meant. That's what he meant right there. Miami court.
Maines believes Naso picked up Charlotte Cook at Miami court. He brought the information to Daly City Police as part of the Oxygen documentary series Death
Isn't
Row.
that strange? This is just weird, right? Cryptic messages. It's what it is.
If I have plenty to go and talk to Naso, which is my next step. As far as I'm concerned, I have probable cause to make that arrest. I think we're going to court for this for sure.
Daly City Police tell me they visited Naso in person, but he refused to answer any questions. Same story 12 years ago when I confronted Naso about the unidentified victims on the list of 10.
You tell me.
I don't know. You know.
And I'll tell you.
You
Well,
tell
I
me.
don't know.
You're still playing games.
Ask the prosecution. Ask the judge. I don't know.
Charlotte Cook's daughters spent their entire lives wondering what happened to their mother.
Her life just like a puff, just went away, and that still hurts our family today.
They're still trying to absorb the news that their mother fell victim to a serial killer.
My mom, because she was so young. She's married, she's happy, she had both her children, and before she can even turn 20, life gone, life over. So I just felt so bad for her.
Well, Daly City
I
Police
bet you
suspect Naso.
the husband or the boyfriend got really, like they probably put him through the ringer here.
In a second, both those cases before Naso dies, he's 91 years old in a prison hospital in Stockton.
That's what I mean. Like, does it matter? I mean, it matters to the families. That's the thing, but it doesn't matter to. I mean, all right. So let's watch this here. This is this guy. This is the interview. The guy Joseph Naso is one of the people that not too many people know about.
Turns out that a serial killer convicted in Marin County 12 years ago may be one of the nation's most prolific.
Joseph Naso now claims he killed 26 women. That's according to a new documentary coming out next month.
Yeah, the I-Team's Dan Noyes will appear in that program as the only journalist ever to interview Naso, and he's here with the very latest on a really disturbing case.
It really is. Well, Dan, these new details are coming from another inmate who befriended Naso at San Quentin, and over the course of 10 years got him to as disturbing as you might expect.
Just days after a jury sentenced him to death in 2013, I interviewed Joe Naso about the evidence against him. The father of two, a Little League coach, and school photographer, also took pictures of women who appeared to be dead, including some of his.
With direction, ask somebody, I'd say, hey, I'd like to take a picture of you looking deceased or unconscious, and this is what you do. You lay back.
Why do that, though? I want to understand why is that appealing?
I don't do that every day. I mean, I do that very little, and that's a essential thing. I've seen
About a piece of paper investigators recovered from his Reno home, the list of 10. During trial, investigators identified 6 of his victims from that list, and I grilled Naso about the other 4. He wrote, girl near Hillsburg, Mendocino County, girl on Mount Tam, girl from Miami near Down Peninsula, girl from Berkeley.
This is Miami near Down Peninsula, so they couldn't.
No,
tell
you
me
know.
and I'll tell you.
You
Well,
tell me.
I don't know.
You're still playing games.
Ask the prosecution. Ask the judge. I don't know.
I hoped to bring closure to the families of those unidentified victims, but Naso continued to profess his innocence, even when I visited him on San Quentin's death row 3 years later.
How many people did you kill, Joe, do you think?
How many did you?
I killed none. It's easy for me to say I killed none. How about you?
None.
But Naso finally opened up about the list of 10 to an inmate he met at San Quentin, Bill Noguera.
When I told them, well, look, they got you. I killed them women, yes. But those aren't my top, those aren't my list of 10. Those are my top 10. And that's when he went on to tell me that he actually had killed 26 women.
That Naso killed 26 women may be supported by something found in the search of Naso's home.
6 gold.
Hold a second. I want to play that again.
26 gold head.
$26 various coins. It's a trophy. These are the trophies here.
26 gold heads. Those represent his trophies. They represent the 26 women that he murdered.
Noguera took notes of his conversations with Naso that continued for 10 years, and he contacted cold case detective Ken Maines, who agreed to work pro bono.
Naso never gave Bill names. He didn't know names. So Bill would just write down little clues, little things, places. And that's what I had to figure out. That's what he
moved to the prison near Sacramento so his sons could visit more often. Noguera convinced Naso he had a buddy who knew the governor and that he should provide info about one of his cold cases, in effect, a confession letter.
It took a bit of time, but he wrote it.
Here it is. I recognize the handwriting from the many letters I've exchanged with Naso over the years. He describes seeing an ad for a model in the Berkeley.
Look at this. These people are so insane, man. They're, just everyday average people. It's so weird.
Barb magazine, and they met at a cafe. Naso wrote, after she chained her bike, I drove her to my home in Oakland. His wife and sons were gone at that time of day. Quote, I had her lay on her back.
Put her in a trash bag and in my car trunk. San Rafael Bridge, and in the low rail section, I stopped and quickly put the bag over into the bits. Whoa.
For some topless shots. During the session, I choked her to death. No violence, no sex, just a quick death. Late that night, Naso says he drove her body to the quote, in the low rail section. I stopped and quickly put the bag over into the bay. Ken Maines ran with that information that quickly paid off.
When I started researching and I found missing person, Lynn Ruth Connis, went to a restaurant and chained her bike up, and she answered an ad for modeling. It was really, honestly, fairly 101 basic investigations to figure that one out.
There is very good reason to believe that Lynn Ruth Connis is number 6 on Naso's list. Until now. As part of the series that starts September 13th on Oxygen, Death Row Confidential, Secrets of a Serial Killer, Ken Maines and Noguera appear to have solved several of Naso's cold cases. They were able to finally inform the families.
But now they know that what really happened to her, and that was been my goal the whole time, is to give the whole motive.
These people, just fester among people in society, and they're horrible killers. It's so weird.
Motivating factor behind all of this.
In addition to the killings, Naso was also a serial rapist. He kept a diary that dates back to the 1950s of teenage girls and women he assaulted. More than 100.
Thank you, Paula.
Of them. Law enforcement agencies around the Bay and the FBI are working these new leads from the inmates' conversations with Joe Naso.
All right, so that's that. God, there's full moon tonight. The cats are going absolutely crazy here. All right, things we're going to do, then we're going to get out of here. I do want to go over this Sandra Birchmore case here. So give me 2 seconds while I pull this up. We've covered Sandra Birchmore before. Okay, so this case here we've covered a whole bunch of times. Sandra Birchmore, she's dead, and the suspect is the Massachusetts cop here. So, and this case here, the Sandra Birchmore case, got a huge push from the Karen Reed case. They were out there picketing for Sandra Birchmore. So Sandra Birchmore was a kid who had a few problems and went to law enforcement to get some help from a program, and she was basically groomed and manipulated by this piece of dog shit here from the Stoughton Police Department and got unalive. So this ex-police deputy chief allegedly contacted Birchmore on the day she died. So so here's this here.
It's been more than 4.5 years since Sandra Birchmore, then 23 years old and 3 months pregnant, was found hanging in her apartment in Canton, Massachusetts. But it is the decade of exploitation and deceit and corruption that came before that turned what looked like a simple.
This guy here. So this is Sandra Birchmore here. She, all of these guys need to go to prison for the rest of their life.
Suicide into an all-out murder case brought by the feds and a lawsuit brought by Sandra in the neighboring town of Stoughton. That's where Sandra joined the Young Explorers program when she was just 13. It's a program for kids who want to get a taste of police work. The man charged with Sandra's murder, Matthew Farwell, was a Stoughton cop and a mentor in the Explorers program. But before
nothing says corruption like Massachusetts corruption. It's just so fucking funny.
He was hit with those charges. Sandra's family filed a lawsuit accusing him and 2 other Stoughton cops of, and I quote, grooming and repeated sexual assaults against Sandra over the course of a decade. Those other.
These 3 guys right here. Remember their faces. Right?
Are Matthew Farwell's brother, William Farwell, and Robert Devine, the former deputy chief of the Stoughton Police Department and leader of the Explorer program. Both men deny wrongdoing, and neither has been charged with any crime connected to Sandra. But for months now, Devine has been the subject of a secret disciplinary set of hearings, and the Boston Globe just unearthed a bombshell from a closed-door hearing in June. The authorities, the Globe says authorities, now the word they used, contacted Sandra Birchmore on the very same day that she died, February 1st, 2021. It's unclear what form that alleged contact took, or what was said in the contact, or even whether Birchmore responded to Deputy Chief Devine. We do know Matthew Farwell is alleged to have strangled birth surveillance entering and leaving her apartment building. We know that Sandra believed, or at least claimed, that Matthew Farwell was the father of her unborn baby, and Farwell apparently believed that he was. But the Globe reported earlier this year that DNA tests proved otherwise. The baby's father's true identity has not yet been revealed, and it may not be known. Matthew Farwell's murder trial hasn't yet been scheduled, but video recordings of the hearings for Robert Devine at Deputy Chief. So, as I often say, watch this space.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our News Nation.
So she's going to be, hopefully she gets exonerated pretty soon. Hopefully these guys go to prison for the rest of their life. But anything's possible in Massachusetts, man, and it's going to take a lot to get that to happen. So, so I do want to play. Hold on a second here. Let's get rid of that. Since we've been in Oregon and Washington, we'll do this here. All right, so we got this one here. Oregon forensic anthropologist, missing woman ID'd nearly 50 years after skeletal remains found So this is an interview with the person who did this here. Moss Hunter initially found skeletal remains on July 24th, half a century years before a team of detectives, medical experts figured out who the hell it was. Let's take a listen to this here. I'll kind of back this up a little bit, and we'll play this.
Okay. Staller or Stalder?
Stalder.
Gotcha. All right. Fantastic. All right. So, Haley, what is your role with the state?
I am the state forensic anthropologist and the human identification program coordinator.
Okay. And that probably means that today's news is really big news for your department, having this cold case be identified. Pardon me. So obviously what we learned today is that skeletal remains that were found in 1976 have now been identified. Let's talk about where and when these remains were found.
Yeah, absolutely. So these remains were found July 24th, 1976 in Lynn County, Oregon. So they were found in the area of Wolf Creek near Swamp Mountain by a moss hunter who was out there. He and his partner were out searching for moss when they came across what appeared to be a human skull. And from there, they contacted the Sweet Home Police Department before it was realized that the jurisdiction actually belonged to Lynn.
Press release that you sent out, the deputies followed up the discovery of that skull and searched through the area and found more remains.
That's correct.
So what exactly happened with the case from then in 1976 until about 2010? What was happening in those first?
So initially, a lot of missing persons were being compared with the unidentified remains that had been recovered, and nobody seemed to match.
This is pretty freaking interesting too. This stuff is going pretty far here.
So unfortunately, as time went on, the case became cold and persisted in being unidentified to that unidentified case, or attempted to be, I guess, compared with that unidentified case. And it wasn't really until 2010 that any sort of DNA analysis was conducted. And so the remains were sent to the University of North Texas. Genetic profile was uploaded into CODIS, or the Combined DNA Index System, but there were no hits at that point. So there were no matches for her genetic profile. In 2018, Dr. Nikki Vance, my predecessor here at the State Medical Examiner's Office, was really involved in remains out for advanced DNA testing. And so 2020, and so the funds started coming in 2019, and in 2020, she was able to get this case sent out under that grant. And this case went to Parabon Nanolabs, who do investigative genetic genealogy or forensic genetic genealogy. And they were able to obtain a DNA profile, and they started working that case from the genealogy. And this is because there were really poor census records and family trees from the area in which they were interested in, and where they thought that our unidentified person came from. So between 2020, when they first started looking at the case, and 2023, there wasn't too much that was able to occur with that case. In 2023, they met, they said, hey, we have this kind of spaghetti bowl of family trees that we aren't able to sort through because of missing data, incorrectly spelled names through the census, things like that. And so it did really stall again at that point until April 2025, very recently, a fairly close family member actually uploaded their genetic profile to Family Tree DNA just out of the blue. And this is a public database in which people can upload their genetic profiles, and law enforcement can then use those profiles to help search for missing persons, unidentified persons. And when that happened, genealogists got a huge break in the case, and they were able to build that family tree out for our unidentified person until they actually identified
That's just so cool, though.
a subject for who they believed these remains belonged to. And when they did that, they found that she had still a living sister who was contacted by Linn County Sheriff's Office and subsequently was able to provide information
That
about
sucks,
her.
Paula. You have bad family history due to cancer. That sucks. Cancer's got to go away for sure.
Older sister, Marianne McWhorter, was never seen again, and she was presumed dead by all the family, but they had no idea. And so Valerie Nagel, this Marianne's sister, was able to provide a buccal swab or an oral swab to compare with the unidentified person. And at that point, it was absolutely confirmed that the person that we had here was Marianne Nagel McWhorter.
Thank you for walking me through that. That is a very just a fast analogy to identify cold cases. Really quick, am I allowed to use the name of the sister?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Just wanted to know that. I forgot. I'm forgetting if that was in the press release or not. But yeah, either way, that is wonderful to know. I can only imagine what it was like for Case and to finally have a resolution in all of this. I can only imagine that must have been a big moment for everyone.
Yeah, I think any identification, no matter if it's taken decades or if it's taken weeks, is really to their loved one. You know, they live every day with this unknown, this kind of nebulous what if, and all of a sudden now, even decades.
I'm the only person that thinks that when they say that loved one thing is kind of, I don't know. Shouldn't they just say family? Like, I don't know.
Later, they're able to put that thought to rest and know that maybe this doesn't necessarily at least help answer some questions about what happened to her sister. And I think that that's incredibly important, not only, you know, for her as family and able to at least put to rest these questions, but also for law enforcement. They can begin working new angles on cases based on the identity of the Linn County Sheriff's Office.
Do you have do you know the cause of death of Miss Marianne McWhorter?
Yes, I'm going to be getting out of here very soon too. John Paul, good to see you. Go check out John Paul Hansen's music studio. John Paul Hansen is a great musician. Awesome guy. Thank you so much. Have a great week, buddy. Thank you for all you do. Just awesome stuff.
I don't believe I'm allowed to release that information.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'm doing my job if I'm hitting
Sure,
that.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yep, that's just fine. So, is there information on do you know what Marianne's, now that we have her remains identified?
I know that she was at the Tigard Mall. And I think that is the only information that we've released about that. That would be a better question for Linn County Sheriff's Office. And
Yeah,
what
it's
they
about time that they just, oh, you're welcome, buddy. Just legalize this stuff. Just crazy that it's not.
Like released on that.
Because they are still actively investigating this case. Okay, thank you very much. So lastly, that's really the big ticket items we've gotten covered on this. Is there anything about this case in particular, or just the new process and DNA verification that happened here? Is there anything that kind of stuck out to you about this case?
This is it was one of our older cases. Our oldest case, a number of cases that kind of time jumps to the 70s is where they really start. And it was really just pretty amazing to be able, after almost 50 years, give somebody answers. That's an absolutely incredible feeling to be a part of that. And I just got to ride in on the coattails of my predecessor's success, doing all the legwork for this case. And I dropped in April 2025 when there was a big break in the case, popping already. But it still hasn't taken away the amazement that just comes from being a part of something like this.
Definitely.
So that's the end of that. I just wanted to play that. That's a good story, right? It's a lot of times in true crime, it's all about death and alive. The family members are alive, so they can actually, get some closure there. All right, so I'm going to get the hell out of here. I've been here long enough, 3 hours of your precious time. At some point, you guys need to go do something more important. All right, so I'm going to get out of here. I want to thank everybody for coming in. Farmer, you're awesome. Farmer's an amazing guy. Go check out his site, Farmer. Feel free to throw it in the chat here. Paula's amazing. Thank you, Paula, so much. If you emailed me or messaged me and responded to you, but I was a little bit busy earlier. Jenny, thank you for coming in again. It's always good to see you. Jenny's amazing. Jenny 867-5309. Mustang was in here. Mustang's amazing too. Check out Mustang's channel. Big Fish, Small Pond. Thank you for jumping into the chat. That way I get to say bye. Sweet Dude Shibby, you're awesome. Thanks, buddy, for coming in. It's always good to see you. Who else? And I know John Paul Hansen was in here. John Paul Hansen's awesome. Check out his channel. Dirty Diana's amazing. She's got a great channel. Tracy was in here. Tracy's amazing. Thank you so much, Tracy, for coming in and all your knowledge. Doodlebug was in here. Doodlebug's amazing. Great channel. Southern Gal's been in here. Southern Gal's great too. This is where I get really nervous because I know I'm going to forget people. Who else was in here? Mino Dino was in here. Mino Dino's awesome. I hope he feels better soon. I know he's probably not feeling all that great. I hope Heather's well too. Heather, we missed you tonight. I hope you're okay. Hope you're well. Heather Brown's an amazing freaking human being. Miranda too. I hope Miranda's well. Hope she's healing up good. What else is in here? All the people on the replay too. I know there's a ton of people that watch me on the replay. Look out for my reaction video coming out on Dean and Dina channel. Pertinent was in here too. Good to see Pertinent. See you in here for sure. I'm gonna miss a whole bunch of people. I apologize. I know Lisa Joe was in here. Lisa Joe's amazing. She always checks out the channel. She's great. Hide current answer. Current comment, new comment. Let's see here if I can get everybody tonight. Nicole Watt was in here. Nicole's awesome too. Thank you so much, Nicole, for coming in. Appreciate it. You guys are really amazing. I appreciate all you guys coming in here because it's late on this Sunday morning, Saturday night, so I appreciate it. And if I miss anybody, I apologize. It's really hard to get back up to the top once I'm down towards the end here, but if I miss anybody, I apologize. All right, so that's going to do it. All awesome. Don't die, whatever you do, and I'll see you guys next week. If there's anything that breaks, I'll try to come in here and do a live on it. I'm definitely keeping an eye on the tropics here because it's going to be a fish story, so there's nothing going on there. But everybody has a great night. Shibby, thanks a lot, man. You're awesome. All right, that's it. I'm out of here. I'm going to play my outro and then get out of here. Thanks, guys. Have a great week. Stay safe. What the hell am I doing? Hiawatha, good to see you, Hiawatha. Thank you so much for listening. Appreciate it. You guys are awesome. You make my week. Hiawatha's awesome. All right, let's get out of here. What are we doing here? 72 right there. Okay. All right, see you guys later. Have a great week.